Oh, hey everybody, welcome to my stream, my random Friday stream. It's random because I don't normally stream Fridays, but it's been a busy week. What's up everybody? Hey Summers, how's it going? Yeah, so what we're doing today is reacting to Asmongold's video that he put out a video responding to a bunch of viral people reacting to his viral video, and it's all about artificial intelligence, and it's about like AI art and Palworld, and like I don't know, it's kind of interesting. I'm just doing this to kind of clarify some things because like I could have made a video about it, but I'd rather just talk about it and put like less effort into like editing a video. Trying to play Palworld in my free time. I can't be busy editing, growing my channel. What the hell? I love coffee, guys. I can't get enough of it. Anyway, here we are. Let me pull this up. By the way, this is Asmongold's video that came out yesterday. He didn't do it. I don't think he put out one today. I think he's playing Enshrouded. Speaking of which, you know what? Let me go to my Twitter and then show you guys something, because I played Enshrouded before we get into the stuff. Let me go to this. Let me go to this. Let's go to this. Where is it? I thought I just posted it. Here it is. Here it is. Hopefully, wait, are we live? Yeah, I think we're live. Okay. I am basically 10 hours into this game. It's like Valheim. If I had to compare it to anything, it would be comparing it to Valheim, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what that's about. But you know, I just gave it a little bit of a review. I said, like Palworld, it borrows from a bunch of other games and doesn't feel like its own thing. And that's kind of what this game... So Enshrouded is like a combination of a bunch of survival crafting games, plus a little bit of Breath of the Wild. Plus... It's hard to kind of say. It's sort of like... Yeah, and that's kind of what it is. The best part is base building, which I agree. I agree with myself. But it doesn't seem to matter all that much to the rest of the game, which it doesn't. Basically, what happens in this game is like you build this home base, and you go out in the world and like do stuff, and come back to the base, and you upgrade your base. It's kind of like Palworld, but it's like it's the base building stuff is a little bit less important, I would say. I don't know. But the world is pretty big. I said I like Palworld a little bit more at the moment, but I don't know. I recommend the game if you like those kinds of games. If you like survival crafting games like Valheim, I pretty much recommend this game. At least if you have, I mean, especially if you have friends to play it with. I don't know about solo. I don't know if I would recommend it solo. I also don't know if I recommend Valheim solo. But that's that. But I wanted to get into some of these things. So we have, before we go into Asmongold, we have like, you know, Pokemon Company looking into potential copyright infringement. Palworld fans don't think they're going to find anything. You know, we'll see about all this crap. I'm not a lawyer. I can't even pretend to understand what the end of Japan has. This is two Japanese companies, right? This is two Japanese companies. So keep that in mind. They don't have the same copyright, you know, fair use laws that we do here. So if anyone's like, I guarantee, based on the statute 75 in the charter, or blah 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 blah, like nobody knows what they're talking about. This is Japanese potential lawsuit. But so that's happening. I don't know, just in case you didn't know about it. A beloved Minecraft Pokemon shut down for good. Oh, sorry. So this is something that. Why did I want to bring that up again? Let me think. It must have something to do with. Oh, okay. So I don't know. Hey, what's up, Sax? What's up? Oh, by the way, can anybody hear my music? I'm trying to play a little bit of very, very soft, like arcadey music in the background. But I'm on Streamlabs, so I can't even tell. Anyway, StreamYard. But think about this for a second. Also, if it's too loud, I'll turn it down. This is interesting. Wait, no, this. Right here. Guys, look at this. Back in 2017. The Pokemon Company shut down a mod for Minecraft that was just Pokemon in Minecraft called Pixelmon. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because a lot of people, I mean, I'm seeing this because I'm commenting all the time on it, and maybe you guys aren't seeing this argument, but a lot of people are presenting the argument that because Nintendo hasn't didn't sue them before the game came out because they've been working on it for a long time, that somehow it's not a problem because they would have sued them by now. But my point is, it took them. This game came out in 2013, the mod. It took them 4 years, 2017, right? It took Nintendo 4 years to shut this thing down. So, I mean, I just think that's a dumb argument. Like, if you're like, well, they would have done it by now if there was anything. You don't know that. It took them 4 years to shut this one down. So that's that. Yeah, we're gonna get to Asmongold. We are getting to Asmongold. We are. I just wanted to preface some things. Here's another one. There's somebody data mined Palworld and found this design in the data mines. And it's like every time I open up Twitter, there's another reason why Palworld is scummy and lazy. And this is like today, this design with a couple like bells and whistles on it is identical to Mewtwo Y or whatever. Down to the shape of the legs, down to the way this comes up over top of the hips, down to the chest bump, right? Down to this chest bump at the bottom, down to the way the arms are, the way he's floating. Obviously, I don't have to describe it. If you have eyeballs, the only thing they did is they shifted these things down a little bit backwards, and they didn't connect the loop. And then they changed the color. Anyway, I thought that was wild. It's so lazy, in my opinion. I don't know. It looks cool, but it's like, do your own cool looking guy. Don't be lazy. I don't know. It's not like we shouldn't be encouraging people to be lazy. If the game is entertaining, fine, but it's a separate argument. Here's another one that I thought was really kind of entertaining. This is somebody speedrunning Palworld designs. And it's just like, it's kind of a funny joke, but it's like, this is kind of what they did. They just colored it green and put a thing on top of it and then called it something else. I just wanted to bring some of these up because I thought they were funny. This one, though. Well, you know what? We'll watch a little bit of Asmongold. We'll watch a little bit of Asmongold first, and then we'll go to what I want to talk about. Some people's opinions about art kind of freaked me out a little bit. So I did the Oppenheimer face. Holy crap. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I think we're going to go into the Asmongold. And I'm going to turn down this music because I want to be able to hear Asmongold. First of all, let me know. Chat
situation today.
Let me know if you can hear this loud enough and if you can hear me over top of it.
Situation with a lot of people mad.
So
like we're talking about,
we're going to be, because I want to do some commentary.
7 million views on this fucking tweet. Like we're talking about 5 million views.
I will pause it occasionally and do a little chat because we're not going to steal his content, react to it and steal it. Actually, I probably will for long periods of time. But no, I'm just going to talk about all this because it's impossible. It's 2 hours long. Can't talk about all of it. But I'm going to go through it and hopefully talk about some of it. We also might have have a guest. I have to check my guest. Let's see. Does he want to come on? Oh, some other guy wants to come on. Dude, I don't know who you are, but like, I don't just let regular people on normally on a stream. But maybe sometime. Yeah, so Bagface might come on. Andrew might come on. Andrew was on last time. He's taking a little breather tonight. But where were we at? Where were we at actually? Oh, where's it at? Right here.
Use on this one, like almost 20 million people in the last 24 hours, less than that, have seen this fucking post. This shit has blown up.
Yeah, he's getting so much shit on the internet right now. So much shit. I kind of feel because half the stuff he says is right. Yeah, I saw Bagface's video about it. I watched it. It was a short one, I think. I didn't see his whole video.
A lot of people
I
are
saw the
watching
one on Twitter.
And there's a lot of people that have messaged me. They're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. So many people are angry at you." What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like he doesn't care, obviously.
What, guys? Of course, nobody likes for people to tell them that they're wrong. But this doesn't fucking matter. It's a fucking tweet. Who cares?
Yeah. So
chill out. Everything's fucking fine.
So maybe I should play the video of him first that actually people don't understand. He said this. He said the brain dead thing. Let me go find it. The brain dead thing. Let's go find it. Because this is what the whole reaction to is, and he doesn't watch it in the video, but Asmongold. Oh, I'm way back. I'm way too far back. He talked about, I can't even remember what he said. That's why I want to find it. Here, I'll do this. Watch this for a second while I find it.
Yeah, I got food. I went to Shake Shack. It was really nice. Spent some time with my dad. Like, this is not, guys, I don't need to be protected. I don't need to, everything's fine. Okay, I'm good. So we're going to watch this first. And also, like, I wouldn't have it any other way.
So here it is. Now, I'll just play this quick.
I have to perceive a difference that I consider substantial. And I do not consider the difference substantial. Do you guys? No. Right.
He's talking about,
and that's really what matters.
If it was made about with AI,
I'm completely okay with that because it was fun.
The evidence
it
is
doesn't
that
matter. Nobody really cares
the lead
about this.
developer.
So basically, he's saying if the game's made with AI, it doesn't matter. If the game was made with people, it's the same thing. Like, he doesn't care. The game's still fun to play. It's kind of like,
has been very positive about AI in the past and made an AI game.
We're gonna
positive about
and the sentiment from artists. Artists' opinions don't matter. It just doesn't matter, because what matters is the opinion of the people that are buying the product. Like, it doesn't, like, your opinion on it, like, just because you do it doesn't, like, nobody cares. Like, it's not relevant. It's like whenever one of these, like, really well respected and really respectable directors talks about how bad Marvel is. Shut up, old man.
Uh-oh.
Shut up. I like watching the Thor movie. It was cool.
Okay. There's so much to talk. There's like, that's such a loaded. I don't know, man. I kind of want to. I'm gonna make a funny video about this. Okay, I'm gonna post it tomorrow, dude. I have some funny. I'm gonna make a funny meme out of it. Hey, Bagface. Hey, if you want to hop on, man, let me know. I just wanted to give my initial thoughts quick. So I had to set this up because number one, he said artists' opinions don't matter, and he's talking about consumerism, and he's talking about, well, what it's hard to get into because artists' opinions are diverse, right? So I think it's hard to explain. Here's my take. I think artists' opinions should matter to the extent that if they're able to convince a population to behave in a certain way, then that might be a good thing, right? That's where the miscommunication comes in, because he has a very, very difficult time communicating. He even says this in this video. He talks about it somewhere around here. He says, I think let me find it. I think he actually says it right somewhere right here.
Is it infinitesimally smaller than the market for consumers who just want to consume the cheapest, best thing? Nobody really cares about Amazon workers pissing in bottles.
I think he talks about it like right around here.
Customers demand.
Hold on.
Don't shoot the messenger.
He's saying about his optics and his communication skills. Hold on, let me find it.
And I don't know the answer to that yet. I'm not
here
sure.
It is. Here it is. It's a little bit speedy because I have it on 1.2 times speed.
But... change the truth. I have to say too that I thought a lot today about, is the position and the approach that I take to communicating so aggro that it ends up actually like hurting my goals? Like, am I being too much of an asshole? Is it basically, am I like, because a lot of people say you're right, but I hate you, right? Basically. And so it's like, is this an effective tool for me? Like, am I communicating in the most effective way?
Okay. So basically what he's saying is, am I being not like picky enough with my language that, like, I think that's correct. I think he could pull a lot of people onto his side if he chose his words better, and we'll get into it. We will get into it. But we have a guy here. If it was a small studio, what's up, Disease? We were debating today on something. If it was a small studio that they might have, then they might have to use AI to do some things. Unfortunately, larger studios will use it to cut jobs and costs. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, big studios using AI is a bit more problematic than smaller studios, but that's fine. The AI discussion is so intense that I don't even know if I want to go down that rabbit hole, because I want to talk about what Asmongold was saying, and the behavioral conditioning is what I think you're referencing. What I said, which is basically conditioning a population or a populace or a culture or a community to behave in a certain way. And it's like I was saying, well, if you take artists, for example, or if you take consumers, behavioral conditioning, my whole thesis behind this whole thing, which is why people are surprised that I disagree with him, because it's very contentious. Some people are totally on Asmongold's side. I saw It's a Gundam like kind of shitting on Asmongold, and I kind of am shitting on Asmongold. I saw like people were kind of split, right? My whole point is that it's not that what he's saying is wrong, and if you pay attention, if you know what I'm talking about, or if you know what he's talking about, if you saw this. If not, I'll explain it in like a minute. But if you heard, people are saying that all he's saying is that consumers will buy a product and you can't stop them from buying a product, and you can't control how consumers behave. And that's why people are saying, well, he's right. He's right. They're like, he didn't say anything wrong. And my point is like, yeah, but you know what he's not doing? He's not offering any solutions. He's basically saying, yeah, that's reality. And then he's stopping at that. He's not continuing like the thought experiment, or like he's not continuing how he believes like society should behave. He's just saying what it is as though it's a fact, and it is a fact. But usually when people talk about these things, they give their opinions on how society should be, which if I was him, I would just say, I think we should be moving in a different direction as a society. I think consumerism with 2 O's is kind of a shitty like behavioral, process. Like, I think people should be more artistic and people should be more concerned about art.
And I don't know the answer to that yet. I'm not sure.
But we'll get into that. Thanks, my dude. Something I'm real passionate about. Yeah. Oh, before you come on though, let me address, because we have a guy in the chat. Zach's Lofty was mad about Palworld using similar characters to Pokemon. It was some good messing with. I'm not mad. I we'll go to your comment, buddy. I mean, I don't know if you want me to bring this up, but we'll go to it. You know, here it is. Essentially what happened was you were giving, I commented on this picture. Okay. This is what happened. I commented, I said, this is being lazy and I can't even comprehend it. Like, why? Just make an original design. And then we got into a little debate. And since you're here, I'll talk to you about it. But 25 years of the exact same mechanics since first game. Boring. Your jealousy is showing again, Lofty. Look, that's what I took issue with, first of all, and this part. But essentially what happened was I shared it. I shared it. Because I think calling someone jealous is like a kind of a childish thing to do, because criticism doesn't always revolve around jealousy. Okay. So you what happened was you said that it has better fighting mechanics. Okay. Palworld has way better fighting. I said better fighting. I'm quoting you. I said, you're comparing a complex turn-based battle system with Pokemon, which is perfected over 25 years with trillions of team chemistry combinations, which is probably accurate, to a game where you throw out a pal and they do all the work for you while you run around shooting generic guns at enemies. So this is my take. I prefer the first part. I don't like the Palworld fighting. And then you call me jealous. It's like, that's just bad faith. It's stupid. And then I brought this up because this is true, guys. I said, you know who else enjoys traditional formulaic gameplay loops that like don't change over a long period of time? Zelda and Final Fantasy fans. And if you know what I'm talking about, essentially what I'm saying is, like, with Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy 16, you had a lot of like really mad, like angry, like sort of like reactionary fans upset about the new direction that Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild or Final Fantasy 16 is taking with the franchise. And all these people, a lot of them want to go back to the original traditional formulaic gameplay loop. And it's like, as a Pokemon fan, if I express the same exact concerns, suddenly I'm jealous of Palworld. Makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. So I called you out, and you didn't get pissed about it, but I appreciate you being here. Yeah, that wasn't me. That was Explorer. I don't know who that is. Oh, that's Explorer. Yeah. But you call me jealous. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, that was that. Let's oh, what's up, Words of Paradise? Yeah. I'd argue the vast majority of people aren't artistically minded. That's something that's more or less there from birth. Can be trained for sure, but there's a biological component. Maybe. I think a lot of it is nurturing. I think when you're 11, 12, 13, 14, if you're exposed to, or even before that, if you're exposed to various kinds of art, like kind of experimental stuff, your brain kind of wires itself that way. That's what happened to me. My dad was like, hey, let's watch Young Frankenstein. And I was like 10 years old. It's like, it's not really something. It's sort of like this obscure, weird comedy that like a kid might not understand it, but it's like, I thought it was hilarious. And it's like, it developed my sense of humor at an early age. And then now I'm sort of like, whoa, I kind of appreciate more strange and wacky, weird, humor, as opposed to like fucking Step Brothers or like dumb, stupid potty humor. That's just like one example, but you know what I mean? Paradise, if you want to come on too, maybe I can bring you on. But yeah, what was I saying? Let's go back to Asmongold for a second. Oops.
But I think about that. I don't think that I'm wrong in what I said, but maybe if I said it in a different way, more people would have resonated with more people. So
Okay,
what your goals are.
Let's. I'm gonna send you an invite in a second, Bagface.
In the wrong. Maybe not factually, but it's not about the facts at that point.
Okay. I think he's right about one thing. We'll go through this, but keep in mind he's talking about consumerism. Consumerism is like an immovable object. It's like, look what happened with Hogwarts Legacy. Like, good luck with that. You know, and it's like, I understand what he's sort of saying.
And so I think about the effect of the effect of what I'm saying, and I don't know.
Let me skip ahead a
And
little
so
bit. He goes to talk about some of the
if many
reviews,
such as yourself care about the moral obligation,
some of the people responding to what he said.
why is it that the biggest companies are often the most immoral?
Here it is. This is a good. This is a good
That was pretty cool. I saw that. And anyway, so we'll go ahead and we're going to look at this here. And if you're looking at this from a strictly capitalistic viewpoint, you're not wrong. Now, this is probably the most popular response to the tweet that I made. And I'm going to go ahead and read what this person said. If you're strictly from a capitalist perspective, you're not wrong. I think many, including myself, would argue that we have a good moral obligation to look after the ones making said products. If we never care about the artist, the art stops and nobody wins. And I respond back to this. I say, if many such as yourself care about the moral obligation, why is it that the biggest companies are often the most immoral? And my point is that.
So he's talking about big companies being immoral. Okay, and it's speaking fast because it's going through fast, but I can turn it back to normal. You know, why is it that the big companies are often the most immoral, and the big companies are the ones that sell the most products, and the people buy them from the most? And it's like he's going to go off on a little tangent about why people don't care about immoral consumerism, and he's right about it. You know, he's actually right about a lot of things. There's something around the 15-minute mark that I want to go to, but I want to bring Bagface on first. Here, let me send you an invite. Do you guys did you guys see this already? I just want to know, like, if I have to like explain things while I'm going through. Where are you at, Bagface? I got you. There we go. Yeah.
There are oftentimes people that think that because they get 6,000 likes or 12,000 likes or 40,000 likes on Twitter, then somehow this means that this is what most people think. It's not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If you get like, if I had a tweet that got like 5,000 likes or something, right? I don't know. Like you kind of have this main character syndrome where you're like, everybody agrees with me, but that's not even true. Like 5,000 people agree with you. Okay. Like there's 300 million people in this one country. But it's like, it's not about the people, the numbers. It's not about the numbers. It's about whether or not your opinion is valid. And that's why some of the stuff later he talks about, which is like the value of your work revolves around like how many people like consume it. Like that's where it starts to get weird for me. I don't agree with that. I get 3 likes, so that proves it. Yeah, exactly. Big companies are usually on the stock market and have to make that number go up. Yeah, basically. Here he is. What's up, Bagface?
Hello, Lofty. How are you?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, dude. Did you see this video or no?
I watched like half of it, and then I couldn't stand it. It's just I've never disagreed with something more in my life, I don't think.
Okay. So, all right. Well, that's interesting. What was you put out a video? What was your main message of that video?
My main idea was kind of, I disagree with the entire premise of what he's saying, which is like art does not matter. Like the artist's opinion about their art doesn't matter.
Right.
And like at that basis, it obviously comes from a person who has never had a creative thought in their life, I guess, in my opinion, because it's like when you create art, like when you're a part of something and you actually create something like in an artistic manner, the only thing that matters to you is how you feel about it. Like once you put it out into the world, it's definitely interesting to see how other people react and feel about it, what they think and what it raises in them, all the thoughts that it brings up. But that's like a side effect, you know, like selling it is a side effect, and the popularity of what you produce is a side effect of the actual creative process. And there's like, it's mind blowing to me because like, I know like a lot of the movies we like, because we have pretty similar tastes, which people probably won't enjoy because people don't like your taste a lot, which I find weird because you got good taste.
Yeah.
But
isn't that weird? Like I don't know. I get it. You know what it is? It's like when you're in the pop culture realm, if you don't like a certain pop culture movie, it's like that's where it's like a brick wall. Like they just like, oh, you have bad taste. But it's like, well,
Yeah.
why? Like we're talking about is like popcorn blockbuster. Like we're not even talking about like good movies. Like we're talking about like normie movies.
I
I don't
see
know.
those movies as like, it's like a t-shirt, you know? Like
Yeah.
the person who created this t-shirt, they're probably not super invested in it. They don't really care. They just made a t-shirt. And that's the same thing with like pop culture movies. It's like, yeah, I can
Right.
enjoy it if it's something I like, but yeah.
Yes, I do all the time. I
Yeah.
love block. I like Pacific Rim is awesome. Mad
Oh,
Max
yeah.
Fury Road, The Matrix, Jurassic Park. But as soon as you say you don't like, whatever, Top Gun Maverick or Sonic or something, then it's like, oh, you have bad taste. But it's like, well, what do you know what I think about The Taxi Driver? Do you know what I think about Raging Bull or like fucking?
Yeah.
Do you like
Well,
what do you? Yeah,
And like bringing up those movies, like that's
Yeah.
kind of the point I was getting at in my video is like those things are made by people who are making them
Yeah.
because they want to be a part of the creative process. Like I don't know if you know about like flow state. It's like this weird state that like athletes and artists can get into where it's like you're no longer creating something. It's just like flowing through you. And it's a
Yeah,
really,
it's
really weird thing to explain, but I feel like you can feel when that has occurred in the art that you are like
Yeah,
taking in,
for sure.
you know? And it's like that kind of feeling,
sure.
like that state is what artists are after, like what real artists are after.
It's like Zen or like some sort of like connection with the art that isn't like thought out prior to the filming, or like just like it's not like a puzzle piece you're putting together. It's more like you're discovering these like processes.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
you're experiencing it, not creating it, you know? And like once you
Yeah.
get to that point, that's
Or
like,
you've
that's what
already
true-
experienced it, or
Yeah,
you've
yeah, yeah.
experienced it in the past, and now
That-
you're recreating it or something.
And that's
Or-
what artists are after. And that's kind of where like he's talking about content creation. He's talking about creating products where I agree, like I agree with some of his points when he's talking about, like he doesn't care about AI generation and all that in certain things. Like I'm not entirely against that. I feel like it's somewhat inevitable, but
Yeah.
that's where you end up with content. Like no one's going to watch something created by AI and think, wow, this is as impactful as say Taxi Driver or Raging Bull. You know what I mean? Like it's because it's not the same thing. You're not witnessing someone who had created something that is like bearing their
Original?
soul. Yeah, it's not original. It's yeah, exactly.
Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, originality is important. I think experience, like for example, the movie Past Lives came out this year, and that movie is all about the director's past experience, and it's like she's she had this feeling that she had to express, and she didn't know how to express it. This is why, actually, let me go to this quick. This bothered me. If this person's watching, Jekyll Hunter, please let me know. Let me know if you're here, because I need you to understand something. Holy hell. This person says, first of all, we're going to get to this part in a second. I'm going to play this. But it's Asmongold talking about artistic value. But then this person says, most people calling themselves artists are little more than hobbyist drawers hoping for an easy payday, not putting any emotion or heart into their characters. That's bad enough, but this next part blows my mind. Remember, art is extremely subjective. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And only exists for aesthetics and has no value beyond that. Like, where do I even start? Like, so what happened was, I focused on this last sentence, and we were just talking about something a minute ago, which is past lives. I was talking about this. It's like, if you happen to think that art, like if you're roaming this earth and you think art is only aesthetic and it has no value beyond aesthetics, I don't know what I watch a movie, like watch something that somebody put their life experience, their emotion into, because Past Lives, Lost in Translation, Eternal Sunshine, these are aesthetically pleasing movies, but they're also about the human condition. Like it has so much to say about like the power of memories, human connections with other people. There's a million ways you can interpret art. I don't know what
Yeah.
even this take is.
It's like when I was 15, you know, and I'd never gone to an art gallery. And I
Yeah.
didn't understand why people stood and looked at paintings for like 30 minutes. I was like, you look at it, you get it, and then you move on. Until I went to an art gallery and I stood and looked at a painting for 30 minutes. And I was like, this makes me feel things.
Yes, that's
Like-
another. Now that painting is they're very different than film.
Yeah,
It's because I would say painting, you have to be more of an imaginative person maybe to even appreciate it in the first place. I think film has a way of like connecting with music, with acting, performances, with writing, all this stuff. It's easier to like pull people in. I don't know. That's just me.
It's
Maybe
more
maybe that's just
digestible.
me.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Leon, what do you think,
Hey,
Leon?
what's up, guys?
Hey, buddy. This is kind of random. I didn't even know who was going to show up. But...
Yeah, no, I was just sitting around playing guitar. Saw you were streaming. I was like, oh well, my fingers are starting to hurt. So let's see what Lofty's got to say. And it turned out to be a, as usual, interesting discussion.
Yeah, well, we're running up against Friday Night Tights and Little Platoon stream, so hopefully when that's over, maybe people will show up and watch. But yeah, I mean, I think what are your thoughts on this, Leon? What are your thoughts on this take? Because I just wanted to say I have a sad, black-pilled feeling that a lot of people think this way about art.
I heavily disagree with the second half, but I actually 100% agree with the first half. The most people calling themselves artists are little more than hobbyist drawers. Like in terms of the internet sphere, where you've got people who are looking for any avenue of anything they create to make them feel and be special. Yeah, I actually said something very similar the other day on X about this exact same topic. And like I don't go around calling myself a musician at every opportunity I get just to to flex on the fact that I can play an instrument. Like I haven't been in a band in 7 or so years. I still play occasionally for fun, but I'm a hobbyist guitar player or bass player.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but you also you can't just stop there, because then he says hoping for an easy payday, not putting any emotional heart into it. Like that part's not true. Like a lot of people.
No, I completely disagree with. I mean, I'm sure there are people that are doing that, and I think that you see a lot of individuals like that. I think that this dude earlier you were talking about main character syndrome, and I think this guy falls into that. That he sees people doing this on X and assumes that's the majority of artists, the creators on the platform, when that's not the case.
No, because a lot of people put emotion into a character that they create, and whether or not anybody buys it, maybe they sell one commission of a character or something. I don't know, but they still have like a feeling about it, and like they try to express some sort of emotion. But it's not just a character; it could be a landscape, it could be a song. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people aren't even thinking about
earlier.
Yeah.
When I was playing guitar, literally 20 minutes before coming on here, I wasn't like learning songs that were already written. I was like, I want to write a chord progression that makes me feel triumphant, that made like something that I would hear when the main character in an anime or a movie or whatever is coming up on the rise. Like that was the vibe I was going for, and it was I wanted to create a progression that, I mean, I'm sure has been used by other individuals, but that I've never seen a song or that I'd never played before. And I came up with 3 or so ideas, recorded them, and was like, all right, I'm gonna take a break for the time being. I'll come back to these, and it was a fun creative exercise.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are underestimating music too. Like, it's like it like this here. Remember, this is so condescending. Remember, art is extremely subjective and only exists for aesthetics and has no value.
That is the most retarded part of this entire statement.
Like music doesn't even like, if you want to stretch the word aesthetics to describe all of music, that doesn't even make sense. But like, music has emotions. Like, aesthetics is not emotions. I don't even know what to say. I'm gonna get out of this because this is just some random guy. But like, I just like, I thought it was stupid and I had to comment on it.
It's like, it's kind of like, that was pretty much the crux of my entire like fucking rant was the whole point of creation is to create, you know? Like, I think the commercialization of art is just kind of almost killed it completely, to the point where people can't even really discern between what is actual art and what is just a product. And there is a significant difference. I had this argument with people that I played music with forever, because there was some people that I was like, that's not music, that is a product. And a lot of people take offense to that because they're like, oh, everything's art, bro. Everything that you create is art. Like, no, there is people that create things that they're creating it for the purposes of selling it, and they're creating it for the purposes of like gaining attention. And there's a big difference between that and creating something for yourself for the purposes of creating something.
I saw your video on Twitter about it. Was there a longer one?
Yeah, I did like a 11-minute
on
one
YouTube
on my channel. Yeah.
Bagface, the only good thing Andrew did was have you on his show.
Yeah, funny story.
Yikes.
That was actually my show. That show was my idea, and then I hated doing it. So I don't.
Oh, jeez.
Not like I hate. Like, I like hanging out with Andrew and like all the people that were on it, but like I can't talk about movies anymore, man. Like.
Oh boy.
Basically, because of this, like I like talking about movies with you, Lofty, because you. You understand, like. It's hard. It's hard for me to look at something that I know people put thousands of hours into, and people that are so much more skilled than me in every facet of creation have like put their time and energy into, and just be like, this is balls. Like,
well,
you
I
can't find anything good. Like,
I know that's true. What you're talking about when people are like, okay, I know what you're saying. Like, sometimes people can go overboard with their like, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. It's like, it's probably not really the worst thing you've ever seen. Like, maybe you're just saying like, people are not really quite being transparent and honest about their opinions, but they're more looking for reactionary stuff.
Not even that. I feel like it's just like people are so incapable of understanding what cinema even is. Like, they don't understand how to light themselves. Like, when I'm talking to people that are using a webcam and like have a ring light in front of their face, and they're arguing about like the cinematography in a movie, I'm like, you can't even light yourself. Or
if they're watching it on their phone with like a 720p like bootleg copy of like Avatar Way of the Water, and then they're like, this actually doesn't look as good as people say it does. Like, everyone's coping. Avatar looks kind of mid. And I'm like, bro, you're retarded. Like, go to the movie theater.
I'm not throwing shade. I love Platoon, but I know Platoon did not see Avatar in a theater, and it's like, I'll say no, but it's the thing that bothers me. It's like if you listened to an album through your iPhone speakers and tried to give it a rating. It's like, no, that's you're like, that's not how it was meant to be experienced. Like, oh, the other day, okay, so I watched Dune when it came out. I watched it on HBO Max because it was a pandemic and I was lazy, and I was like, this movie's okay, it's kind of overhyped, but whatever. And then I went to the IMAX the other day, and Denis Villeneuve showed up, which like fucking blew my mind.
I saw your post about that. I was so fucking jealous of you. You had like, I was driving and looking at Twitter, which I shouldn't have been doing, but like my jaw physically dropped in the car when I read that.
Dude, I was freaking out. But
that's wild.
Dude, seeing it in IMAX. Yeah, we live in the same city. I live a couple blocks from him actually. But like, seeing it in IMAX, I was like, okay, I understand. Like, that is how that medium was supposed to be experienced. That's what he made it for. And seeing it in that medium made me appreciate it way more. And now I think it's like one of the best sci-fi movies I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, you're back on the team, Bagface.
Oh, dude,
hell yeah.
I'm on it. Like, unreal.
Well, that's how I feel about Gravity. And that, you know, that movie is meant to be seen in a movie theater, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you watch that movie at home, it's kind of like it just like diminishes the value of like the experience of feeling like you're stuck in space and going to die like any minute. And then when you're at home, the story is kind of more up front and center, and the story's not that great. It's just simple. But like, You know what I mean? It's similar to that's how I feel about Gravity.
I skipped Gravity because even the commercials for it made me uncomfortable. I was like, if I see this in the theater, I'm going to freak out because that like
Oh, you
it's
might
such an
throw up, man.
irrational fear. Dude, it's such an irrational fear to have, but it's a fear that I do have, is being just floating in a void. So I was like, yep, I can't watch this movie despite the fact that it looks interesting, but it's no. I'm glad it did have that effect. That means it achieved its purpose in theaters, but I never saw it for that reason. I was afraid it was too good at what it was trying to do.
Movie experience has less gravity. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hey, what's up, Lemon Creature? New viewer. Hello. See ya. OT. Bye bye. Have a good night. But yeah, it's like, okay, so there's that problem with people's media literacy. Is like, I understand that, but I can't deny and I can't lie. Like, I did it with Rebel Moon. I fucking roasted at that movie so hard. To be fair, I was talking about Zack Snyder 99% of the time, but like, I'm not like making fun of the actors. The actors, I even said this actually. I was like, they couldn't even do anything about it. That one actress, I forget her name, but she's really good at Korean actress, and she had no ability. She couldn't do anything. She had no character. So
yeah, that movie's actually bad. I could see that in IMAX and it would still be bad. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, when you criticize something, it's like, you should be nuanced. You should be able to pick parts of it that are good, parts that are bad. If all of it's bad, it's okay if you shit on it. It's like, it's not that big of a deal, but
no,
just have a little bit of nuance
to shit on things.
Well, to be fair, there's I bring this up all the time. There's a financial incentive nowadays for people to make things worse than they are. Like, I rarely do film reviews for movies that I disliked or that I thought were mid, just because there's things that I think most films, even bad ones, have merit, have something positive to talk about, but there's already for better or worse, a massive market for negativity, especially on this platform. So I typically don't do it. There's been exceptions. Indiana Jones 5 was the exception because that movie broke me. But in general, I don't I don't review movies that I thought were bad. Rebel Moon was the exception. I thought that was like the definition of basic, and so I talked about that. But most of the time, I stick with movies that I thought were genuinely good or at least deserve positive words.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm tired of the financial incentive of negativity.
That was why I stopped doing movie reviews on my channel, actually, because that was my original plan. Was I love cinema. Like, I love going to movies and experiencing that medium. It's like one of the most awe-inspiring things I can think of. But I found myself like, yeah, you get more attention when you're negative. And then once I realized that when I went to movies, I was like taking the view of like finding the negativity throughout it. You know what I mean? And it changed my experience, and I hated that. And then as soon as I stopped doing movie reviews, I can go see a bad movie and I'm like, nice.
I mean, to be fair, in most bad movies or in most bad art, not just movies, in most bad art, there's something enjoyable. Like let's take a band like Blink-182, who I think is now a good band, but listen to their first couple albums. They can't even play their instruments. Like early Blink-182 sucks objectively as musicians, but I still love their music because I think there is something of value there, whether it be the angsty teenage lyrics that so perfectly encapsulate the late 90s or whatever it is. There's something to be found that you can speak positively of.
Yeah, but everybody has a different, like, for example, this guy's Disease in the chat. Rebel Moon is a solid 5 out of 10, and The Last Jedi is a 1 out of 10. I actually have the opposite take. I think Rebel Moon is like a 1 or a 2 for me. I and then I think The Last Jedi has good parts in the movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I actually think Rise of Skywalker is terrible, and worse than The Last Jedi. Even Rise of Skywalker.
I don't know which is worse because they're bad for
Rebel
different reasons, and that's what's crazy about those two. They are very bad movies for very different reasons.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, people are giving it a 1 out of 10. I know why. It's because Luke Skywalker is not the same Luke Skywalker. It's because they killed Han Solo, and they made they made Rose Tico is annoying, but like, I get it, but like, there's some good visuals in the movie. The battle of the Salt Planet at the end was visually stunning. I think Ryan Johnson has some good cinematography and action. I think
the whole movie looked great. That was jaw dropping in the theater. It really was.
It looks great. Also, I like what Kylo and Rey were doing. I think their communication, their psychic communication, or whatever you want to call it, the Force communication, was kind of a cool idea. They killed off Snoke, which sucked. Like, the movie has problems, but it's not a 1 out of 10 for me. Now, Rebel
I also
Moon.
think comparing
can't
Rebel
even
Moon to
think of-
Star Wars is a bit
think
unfair
of-
because Star Wars has generations of
Yeah.
fans and hype and build up, whereas Rebel Moon's a new IP. I'm not saying that gives one more leeway or another, but it's like it's already a disadvantage comparison.
But this is why. See, he gave it. So you give it a 1 out of 10 because it's not following. It's because the story was not following canon that came before it. See, that's like that's fine.
That's the
but,
take of a fan, but not someone who is looking at
But
the
that's
film
not an
objectively
objective-
as a film.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
exactly.
not really an objective take. Like somebody could say the same thing about Jurassic Park. They're like, I like the book better, or The Shining. He didn't follow the book canon, so 0 out of 10. Like I understand what you're saying. Is a little bit. This is problematic. I get it, and that's why the movie's not great. Honestly, it's part of the problem. But like I said, it's not like a 1 out of 10. Yeah.
If you plucked that movie out of Star Wars and it was its own existing movie that had no ties, people would really enjoy that movie. I'll stand by that.
Right.
Some
I
of the
don't know
choreography
if
was
they'd
meh,
really
but
enjoy it, but I think you would have a better reputation than it does
yeah.
have currently, at least.
Better reputation.
And to be fair, there's nothing wrong with fans disliking stuff because it doesn't honor the source material. It's just like that's a different way of version of disliking something versus disliking something for the objective merits of whatever type of artistic endeavor it is. Like, being because you're a Pokemon fan, Lofty, and you and I went back and forth about Pokemon and how I'm a massive Pokemon fan. I don't like a lot of the recent games, but that being said, most of my gripes about the games are as a Pokemon fan, not as a video game analysis, in general. And that's just a different.
That's
type
why
of
Rebel Moon is so bad, because it is plucked out of Star Wars, and it's still horrible. There's no story, and there's no character development, and there's no interesting action choreography, and there's nothing good about it.
it's not even a movie. That's what blows my mind.
It's not even a movie. It's like half a movie.
It looks fine. Like the
looks
editing is
okay.
awful because you can tell
Yeah,
that they're
terrible.
editing out the rating that it should be.
Oops.
But when if you look at a movie as trying to tell a story, it doesn't even accomplish that. Like it tells no story. It's the most mind-blowing thing I've ever. I didn't even think someone could make such a nothing burger of a movie.
But even Rebel Moon, I think you can say positive things about. I think Rebel Moon was arguably my favorite score in a film of any film in 2023. Like, that's not a lot. Sure, that might not mean a whole lot for the product as a whole, but I still think like even something like Rebel Moon, which everyone hates, I loved the score to it.
Better than Oppenheimer?
Yeah, honestly, I think Oppenheimer had better sound design in terms of the effects, but the score itself, I think that Rebel Moon was probably my favorite score of the year.
Oppenheimer score, like I didn't even.
It's revolution. It's like innovative as fuck.
Dude, I love the score of Oppenheimer. I'm not knocking it whatsoever. It's Oppenheimer and Boy and the Heron were probably my 2 and 3 scores of the year. So like it was a packed year.
Disease. We're not saying the same thing about Rebel Moon that you're saying about Last Jedi. You're talking about canon in Star Wars canon, The Last Jedi, where Rebel Moon doesn't have any prior canon. So we're talking about the quality of the movie. That's totally different. Totally different. I was just bugging with this guy because we went at it on Twitter today. So thanks for sticking in the chat. I appreciate it.
It's a real one right there.
Wait, can I play this quick and get your thoughts on this, guys? Let me just play this quick.
It doesn't matter on their
Let me
art.
find.
It's because whenever an artist says this is worth $50 to me, and somebody else says no, it's not, the artist can still try to charge $50 for it, but nobody has to buy it because that value is decided by the customer. That's the way it works, is whenever you go to market with a product, you have to meet the customer's demand. And it doesn't matter about what you think the world should be. It doesn't matter about how you view ethics in art. It doesn't matter about how you think trade should be. It doesn't matter about whether you're a capitalist or not. None of these things matter. The only thing fundamentally that matters is if what you are doing is perceived to have value in the eyes of the public. And not the public, excuse me, in the eyes of the person you're selling it to.
All right. I don't like taking clips out of context because we'll play more of it, but like, what do you think about that? Like, Here's what I think.
I figured I'd be the opposition on here because so far I 100% agree with him.
Okay, but here's my take. He keeps saying it doesn't matter. But it you could say that, but it does matter. Like if our consumerist, if people use the people make fun of consumers all the time, make fun of normies all the time, is because they're sort of like ruining society in a lot of ways. I think it matters that we push back against that. He's acting like it doesn't even matter. Like, why are we even bringing it up? Like, why are we trying to convince normies not to be normies? I think that's the opposite of what my opinion is. I think we should definitely be.
I think you're looking at his argument the wrong way because what he's doing, at least by my estimation, because when I saw this video, he's being the very pragmatic, realistically, this is how the world works. He's not. You could say that he should have said, it should work X, Y, Z, or he should have offered his own opinion. However, Asmongold, and this is why earlier in the chat before I was on, I was bringing up artistic versus people who are born artistic versus not, is some people just inherently have a more pragmatic, realistic way of looking at the world. That's that they were effectively born that way. And again, you can teach art and whatnot, but in general, I've never looked at Asmongold as an artist or as someone who creates art. All of his videos that I've seen, I've watched him a lot over the last year or so. He takes a very this is how the real world works approach, and it's more like teaching people that like teaching his viewers or the people watching his videos, his channel, that no matter what their ideas are, that's not the way the world works currently. That doesn't mean that can't change, but as it currently stands, if you're applying your own subjective ideals, that's not realistic.
I know what you're saying. The problem is he repeats that over and over and over and over again. And it's like everybody knows if you don't make a product that people don't want to buy, no one's going to buy it. Like everybody knows it's common sense. It's this whole video is him.
You say it's common sense because we know this, but so many people on the internet are idiots, Lofty.
No, everybody knows that if you don't make money, that means nobody wanted to buy your product. It's the most obvious thing.
If everyone knew that, why would Disney keep losing money and put out the same generic garbage movies that are bombing at the box office for the last 2 years? So clearly not everyone knows that.
Because it's a large ship to correct. There's many different reasons why Disney is losing money, and I have a very good feeling that they will not continue to lose money because they're currently correcting. And
I should specify. I don't mean Disney as a corporation, because I agree with you there. What I mean is that the drones on X who talk about how Disney is doing fine and not losing money, the people that pay to see current Disney, they clearly don't understand that that's how the market works.
Well, and my issue with like what he's saying and like kind of the Disney thing is like he's taking the view that these things, like everything is a product. That's kind of what I take from his video, is that he is assuming that everything that is made creatively is made to be a product, and therefore if you try to sell that product and it don't sells, it has no value to anyone. And my argument, like my argument is like the value does not, it's not a monetary thing. Like the value is to the creator, not to the possible person that you're going to sell it to. And it I was a musician for a very, very long time, and I spent probably 10 to 13 of my 15 years being a musician trying to do anything that I possibly could to get signed, like making whatever music I thought, dressing the way, like doing the things on stage that I thought, and it never worked. And as soon as I was like, fuck it, I don't want to get signed, I'm just going to make music that I really like, I got signed and things took off and I started to be really successful. And it made me realize like the products, when you're creating art and you're trying to sell art, it's very different than trying to create like a product. And people gravitate towards things that are like honest and expressions of you, and things that don't feel like a product when you're trying to sell something artistic. It's almost antithetical to what like a normal capitalist system would be, where like you're trying to create something new and expressive, and that's what attracts consumers, versus when you're creating a product, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think both are true, though. I don't think it's one or the other. So when you're creating art, you are inherently creating it for, if it is real art, you are creating it for you. I agree with you there 100%. However, the moment you go to sell that art, that is still art that you put your whole heart and soul into, the value is going to be derived from that transaction forward onto the person who is purchasing said art. So there's a lot of people who make art that means so much to them, but it's still bad art and it doesn't end up being sold. So I think that it's not
Right.
A or B, it's A and B.
I think that's my argument, though, is like his whole point is it has no value then. And like he's negating to recognize the value that it has to the person who created it, which in my opinion is more important than the value it has to the person who is buying it.
Yeah,
See,
can we all
it
agree
could just
that
be sorry, go for it, Lefty.
he's using the word value in the most obscure, confusing way that everybody has to do mental gymnastics to explain what he means when he could just say it differently.
He says monetary a few times.
I know, but all he has to do is call it consumer utility. That's exactly what he's talking about. Things that sell really well have consumerist utility. That's not the same thing as value, okay? Especially artistic value. And actually,
maybe it's just a thing of the English language and being implied, because like throughout his whole speech, I just assumed it was implied that he is talking about the market, the monetary, consumer versatility, the free market, and so the abstract worth isn't part of the question, because that's not what's being talked about. Like that was the. But my
problem,
assumption.
I understand what you're saying, but the problem is he didn't say that. He said value. So when people say that Asmongold is wrong, and you're like, I don't understand why people think he's wrong. You might understand what he's talking about, but he didn't say what he's talking about. You have to imply it. He said value. Like, look at this. This is actually what I wanted
to be fair. I get exactly what you mean, because I made the same argument about you and Platoon, argument on Avatar. I was like, God damn it, Lofty is making. He's got good points, but he's articulating them so damn poorly. I know. I get what you mean.
It's hard. But look, he's by himself here. I was on a panel with a bunch of people yelling at me. It's much harder. To be fair, but
he's got a whole chat, all caps locking him. So
yeah, and also he has like a bigger thing. He has to be more responsible with his language, because he's inspiring a lot of people to like, especially with his AI stuff. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But listen to this, because he talks about value.
Cares about.
With the I don't know if you saw this, but this is kind of crazy.
Or you can go over to Twitch,
dude.
And you can go down to let's go down to.
I'll let this whole thing play, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't know, World of Warcraft, and let's scroll all the way down, and you're gonna find people that have 1, 2, 0 viewers, and they're streaming the same as everybody else is, but nobody cares about them, and it doesn't really matter that they're streaming. There's no value to this stream. They're not going to make any money. Now, maybe they will in the future. But whenever they do in the future, the reason for that will be because people see value in them. That's because the artist is empowered by the people that consume their content.
Holy fuck. Okay, hold on a minute. There's a lot to unpack.
Fucking kill me, dude.
Now, look, he's talking in this very isolated bubble of World of Warcraft Twitch viewers, and so everyone is under the same category, right? Everyone has like they're all playing the same game, and he went down to the bottom. He's found a bunch of people with no viewers, and he says there's no value to their stream. There's no reason. What did he say right before that? There's no
people that have 1, 2, 0 viewers, and they're streaming the same as everybody else is. But nobody cares about them, and it doesn't really matter that they're streaming. There's no value to this stream.
It doesn't matter that they're streaming. That's a pretty fucked up thing to say. Also,
nobody cares about them.
Nobody cares. Now, nobody cares about them is like the least problematic thing, because it's kind of true, because nobody's watching them. But that's still. But then to say after that, to say that there's no point to like that, like they might as well not even be streaming. Which is anyway. He just said it again. He said like 3 things.
Cares
what
about
is it again?
Hold on. No, World of Warcraft.
Yeah, right here.
Doesn't really matter that they're streaming.
It doesn't matter that they're streaming. Like, what does that mean? Of course it matters. They're practicing. They're getting better. Like, people might discover them. Like, there's a million reasons why it matters.
Yeah,
I can't even believe that he said this.
Once again, I think this just comes down to you guys are saying this in a very, and I understand why. You guys are both artists.
Wait. Before you go, we're taking it the way he said it. So, like, we have to understand it.
But see, I don't think you can say that, because I took it completely differently, and I heard the same words.
Okay, so,
So-
you heard the word. It doesn't matter that they're streaming, and you heard what?
And,
exactly?
and what I heard was it doesn't matter to the general viewer who is not familiar with this individual who's logging on to Twitch, logging into World of Warcraft, because they're going to
Okay.
find
I
someone
understand.
they're already a fan of, or like he's talking about how people who are consumers of a particular product, and so when you've got these individuals here who have 0, 1, 2 viewers, they don't have value to the eyes of the majority of people who are not watching them. That otherwise the majority would be watching them. Like, he's not saying they don't have value, end of sentence. He's saying they don't have value to a prospective audience. If they did, that audience would be there.
We all know that. That's self-evident. I don't understand why he even did a video if that's all he's saying, because that's self-evident. They have 0 viewers. Everybody knows why they have 0 viewers. What's his point? And you can't blame people for not understanding what he's saying, because he's not really being clear about it. And it's like, I understand what you're saying, and I understand that that I even thought that when I was watching this, but then I was confused because of the terminology he was using, and it's just like, and then he said they have no value. So what does that mean? Like, they have no value? You have to do mental gymnastics to like figure out what he means by that. And it's like, you can't just say they have no value, because value is not monetary. Consumerist utility is not value.
See, I don't know if you have to use mental gymnastics, like you say, though. If I was to point and say, hey, let's go watch that movie, and you look over and you see I'm pointing it at my Blu-ray copy of Evil Dead Remake, you'll know I'm talking about Evil Dead Remake. I don't have to say, let's watch the Evil Dead Remake. I say, let's watch that movie. It's not mental gymnastics. I may not use the exact word, so it's just a matter of, oh, what is he saying? What is he not saying that I can easily infer?
Well, I'm trying to find a comment that disagrees with you, that took his somebody here. Let me try to find this. Bagface, go ahead. What were you going to say? While I look for something.
I'm autistic as fuck, so I take the words that people are saying out of their mouth and a
lot of people do
those. Yeah. But like, dude, like, I was a small streamer once, and like saying like
pretty bad.
It's pretty rough, but also it's crazy to me that like he assumes that everybody that's streaming World of Warcraft that has 1 viewer, their goal is to be a gigantic streamer, and that, like, I'm sure that most of the people, that's their goal. But I'm assuming that there's a good amount of people that are happy with 2 viewers, 1 viewer. You know what I mean? Or the fact that they just like gained enough confidence to turn on their like screen cap and
those usually go hand in hand, River.
For real.
For real. I'm both autistic and artistic. Those things go hand in hand. But it's like when I think about it in the terminology of like, there's obviously no consumer benefit to them like streaming to 1 person, I guess. But if the benefit to them is that they're happy doing it, like that's so much more important in my eyes, because it's hard to start streaming on Twitch, like, let alone the algorithm and how it works, because it's completely garbage. But also,
Does it even have an algorithm?
It's if you have the most viewers, people see you. It's the most ridiculous shit. But like, it just like it's hard enough. It takes enough out of a person to turn on their computer and stream, and that might be enough value for that person that they are completely fulfilled. And like, why does it matter if they're bringing monetary value or if they're bringing consumers to their stream, if what they wanted to do was like, I just want to stream and say that I do stream? You know what I mean?
But this whole argument is in the context of consumer and making money. That's why he's talking about, Palworld versus Pokemon and talking about the monetary difference.
Well,
and
then
so
you get
I
into
feel like that's implied.
And then it ties into like, he's assuming that therefore the people, like, this is my assumption of what he's saying, I guess, is that people that create value are probably the people that are best at creating value. Like, he is assuming that because he is Asmongold and he has the amount of followers and attention that he does, that means that he is the best at what he is doing. And that's just wrong. And like, it's like saying that we know who the best musician in the world is because they're the most popular musician in the world. It's like, no, there is some kid.
Taylor Swift's not the best, is what it is.
There is so many talented people that have a ton of value to offer that will never see the light of day, and no one will ever know who they are, because that's not the way the world works. It's not a meritocracy.
Oh,
the best
absolutely.
people, especially in the online space, like, the most talented people with the best takes are not the people that are getting the most attention online. You know?
I mean, one of my favorite lyrics to a particular rap song is "I've seen billionaire dumb fucks and geniuses driving dump trucks." Like that's a 100% accurate statement to the world. But I feel like when we're watching this Asmongold clip, we're trying to apply a standard that he's not talking about. So we're taking this in an artistic way.
I know. I've tried to make this clear. I'm not saying he is saying he believes what I think. What I'm not saying he thinks that people with 0 followers have no purpose in life and should just die. I know what he means, but the problem is it's like kind of fucking with the larger conversation, and it's convincing a lot of people that like people don't have value, that you don't have artistic value unless you're popular, and normies and low IQ people and people that are just like consumers will just run with that because Asmongold says it, and because they'll do whatever opinion he has. They have this happens with every fucking. He's a cult leader.
What you're saying is everybody. Let me make sure I understand. You're saying he's inadvertently making the problem worse when.
Oh, of course, 100%.
But the keyword's inadvertently. Like he technically, just the way I'm interpreting is he has a point, but he's wording it awfully.
Yeah, exactly. That's
like
what I said.
He is too stupid to be talking about something that is as complicated and as important, I guess, to me at least, as this topic. It's like. And can I just, I don't know if we're going to touch on this at all, but like, saying I got canceled, he has like 5 videos saying I got canceled. You cannot say you got canceled when you got 39,000 likes on the video of you saying you got canceled. Like, suck the fattest dick, dude.
I mean, he probably did that for clickbait, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely clickbait, but it's just annoying.
It's annoying, but I think he's inadvertently kind of fucking with this problem and making it a big deal and giving ammo to a lot of people on the left who hate. You know what I mean? Like it's a big problem that he's causing, and he doesn't have to be. He could talk about the monetary utility of like products like Palworld. If people are trying to like ban people, he does later in the video. Later in this video, he talks about people trying to like influence people to not play Palworld, and how that's like kind of a lost cause, and like you shouldn't try to do that because nobody cares. And it's like I kind of get where he's coming from, but like. He just he could talk about that, but like he needs to figure out why people are so upset, and it's because of the language he's using, and it's just kind of. And he even says this before you showed up. Words of Paradise. He said in the beginning of the video, right after this, he's like, I don't know if my methods of communication are helping or hurt. They're probably hurting my channel. I'm probably hurting the argument. He actually acknowledges that, but
it's weird to me too because like. He's very flippant on it now, but we're probably like 5-10 years away from AI streamers being able to stream 24 hours a day and doing the exact same thing that Asmongold does, and he will be out of job. And like I'm interested to think how much value.
Well, because just a few minutes ago you were talking about how people will still gravitate towards what's human created as art instead.
Yeah, but that's art. He's not doing art. He's creating content. Like when it comes to product and content, like Palworld's a good example. I know it's not confirmed to be using AI, but if they did use AI, they created a product, they did it in a speedier fashion, probably for cheaper if they were generating those images. And
I wish they used AI because the fact that they just stole assets and like tweaked it is worse to me than using AI, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like it feels like. Like you can definitely create products with AI that the majority of people will buy, and there will be value to those things, like monetary value. But I feel like no one is going to buy a painting that is created by AI. Like they will, but it's not going to be worth as much money as an artist who created a painting. Music, I'm sure there will be an entire section of music that a lot of people listen to, like Taylor Swift, which is right on that edge of being created by AI because it's just so committee focused and gone through so many hands that it's basically.
I can only listen to the same 4 chords written by the same 11 people so many times. Like
exactly, but there's always like it blows my mind because like the market will always be smaller for actual art that is created. And I feel like it's always been that way and it always will be that way, but that doesn't mean that it has less value unless you're literally just talking about monetary value. And when you bring up, like, if you're going from that angle, I would argue that like those two things are completely different. Like having monetary value and creating art, those two things are separate entities. They're not the same thing. You can't bring them up in this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where I think that's why it gets confusing listening to him talk, because it's like, are you speaking about the value that art brings, or are you speaking about the money that is made from products? Because those are two entirely different things, and they shouldn't be conflated with each other.
I'll be back in just a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. I wanted to talk about this meme because he actually talked about this meme.
Yeah.
And I wanted to like kind of get your guys' impression about like about whether or not I actually think kind of funny because I am playing Palworld and having fun with it, and I have problems with it, and it's like part of me is like, well, this game's kind of addicting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I asked this question on my stream on Wednesday. I was like, am I this guy? Like, am I just a consumer? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, now, to be fair, I don't think there's anything wrong with watching or playing or doing something that you enjoy that is problematic or that has problems that, you know, maybe you even are aware of that. Like, I'm just thinking, for example, of Disney as a company, which I hate, but I will go see Avatar in the theater and give Disney money. And some people will be like, "Well, you're Lofty, you're a hypocrite, or you're a consumer, you're a normie." And it's like, why can't you have? Where are your morals? Where are your ethics? Why don't you put your money where your mouth is? And bottom line to me is, I do that enough to the point where it's almost stressful to the point where I can't just bring myself to do that 24/7 of my waking existence. And sometimes I just want to have fun and like be selfish and like watch something entertaining. I don't want to have to, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was just bringing up too, or like, I like going to shit. Like, one of my favorite movies to watch when I'm kind of just stoned and sitting alone is Moonfall. And that movie is absolute garbage. And I consume it like the littlest consumer that has ever consumed. But I think there's a big difference between like appreciating art and understanding its value and consuming a product. And when you're playing Palworld, like, you don't have to, like, you can have issue with it. I have issue with the fact that this shirt was probably made by a little slave kid, but I'm still wearing it. Like, you can have issues with it and still participate in it. You can have issues with Palworld and still play it because it's a good product that is made. And it's like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But that's very different from appreciating it in an artistic form. And that's why I think these two things are like very, very separate conversations.
And they're being dragged into the same conversation because if you criticize the game, people will call you a Nintendog. They'll call you a Nintendo shill. They'll call you a Pokemon's fan. Even though I can't even believe some of these people. They're like I can't even tell you. Like, count on like 75 hands. How many people told me that, or how many comments I've read where tweets where people think the only people complaining about Palworld are Nintendo Pokemon fans. That's there's a
lot of Sony fans there too as well.
No, but there's a lot of anti-AI people. There's a lot of gamers in general who don't play Pokemon. There's a lot of artists who don't play Pokemon. They're all complaining about Palworld. It's not just Pokemon fans. This is not just like an ass-mad, butthurt Pokemon fan reaction. It's a problem with artistic integrity and like lack of creativity. That's the problem. But like,
I mean, to be fair, that is true, but also Palworld, the controversy blew up. How many individuals are having their take on Palworld because it'll get me likes and retweets, or it'll get me subscribers on YouTube or whatnot. Like I'm not gonna operate under the assumption that all these people genuinely care about artistic integrity, because if that was the case, they'd be saying the same things when the Disney live action remakes were coming out, or they'd be saying the same thing when their favorite bands turn into sellout bands, or insert whatever artistic medium here. So no, I think there's a lot of just engagement farming around this particular topic because it's the biggest thing on the internet right now.
And like
that's true. Although, wait, hold on a second. River Miles get a $20 donation.
Ooh.
Turbo Kid used AI. Ooh. Awesome technology. Thank you for the $20, River Miles. He always reminds me about Turbo Kid because it's like I have to watch it someday. It's like this thing. Thank you, buddy, for the donation and for supporting the channel. And biggest by far donor is River Miles. He's my biggest pixel punk, and I will die for you, buddy. Iconology. But what did you just say? Words? Because wait, just quickly. You're right. You're right. You're partially right. There's a lot of consistent anti-AI people who think Palworld is contributing to the same lack of creativity, the same stolen art problem, and these people have been very consistent about AI for forever. So I don't see why they wouldn't. Like those people, I would say, are not jumping on a bandwagon. Those people see it as
those people, the people who have been anti-AI for since ChatGPT dropped. Yeah, those people I'm willing to believe.
I've
seen individuals on X who I've never once seen say anything about AI in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah,
who are now jumping on the Palworld bandwagon. I'm like, okay, you're looking for those light, and it doesn't matter what side they're on, pro Palworld or negative Palworld. Either way, I'm seeing people jump to take sides. Whereas like people like us who care about art or care about video games, or often they can be one and the same. We have legitimate opinions because this is what we live and breathe.
Yeah. While I go to the bathroom quick, do you guys want to give your quick thoughts on this meme, and why do you think it's so just used all the time, and like what because I've been hit with this meme and then I've used it against people, and I feel like, don't you think that people use it like incorrectly sometimes, and it's just like kind of it doesn't even mean anything anymore? Anyway, go. I want to give you. If you give your thoughts, I'm gonna be right back, and you guys can talk to my chat and stuff.
After you, Bagface.
Oh yeah. Like I don't know. I feel like this meme came from a good spot. Like I watched Red Letter Media like a good amount. I think they're good dudes. Like the don't ask questions, just consume product. They get excited for next product. I feel like it's an issue, but it's also not it's like a non-issue in my mind. Because in my brain, I separate products from like artistic endeavors. Where like when I look at like I was just talking about Dune, like I look at Dune as art, and I go to that movie and I appreciate it for the art that it is, and I don't really see it as a product. Where like when I go see, I don't know, like when I went and saw Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, like I'm not going there expecting art. I'm going there expecting a product. And I'm like, I can be disappointed in it as an artistic expression, I guess, but I'm not even like, those aren't even the goggles I put on. I put on my consumer product goggles when it comes to something like that, and like whether I can enjoy it or not. It's like, I feel like this came from a good place, but it's also like a nothing burger of a statement, because products that's what they are. They're meant to be consumed. That's what they're made for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I first of all, I love that you bring up Dune, because I say this on every opportunity I get. The Dune series is my favorite book series of all time. Like,
I gotta read it, man. Like,
I am such a massive fan of the Dune books that when this got announced in like 2015 or 16, whenever it was, I was on that hype train. I'm one of the few people that loves Blade Runner 2049. Not as much as the original, but I do like Blade Runner 2049. And so I was going into this movie hoping for a close to accurate story-wise, but also I wanted a visual artistic representation. So like to me, the books are art. Literature is art. And then I was like, okay, I want to see this guy take one form of art and transpose it with cinematic alchemy into another type of art. And I got exactly what I was looking for. So I'm a ride or die Dune fan. And I hate the 80s movie. I loathe the 80s movie, despite the fact that, again, Mike, I was saying earlier, it's got stuff that I would still give it credit for, some good moments to it. It's not all bad. So just want to, again, love that you bring up Dune. It gives me a chance to show my favorite book series. But as far as this goes, I love this particular meme because I don't really look at it as a commentary on the products so much so as on people. And you got individuals like me, you Lofty, who do these streams that clearly do care about art. And it seems like we're such a minority compared to people who don't even take art into consideration. They're like, people talk about, I'm tired of seeing XYZ woke thing because it ruins my escapism. Like, escapism can also be consumerism. Like, I do want art. There's a place for popcorn movies, and I'm all for them. Like, I give mad props to Barbie, and I would consider Barbie art before I would consider it a consumerist product. I would put Barbie leaps and bounds on higher on an artistic scale than anything Marvel's done since, well before the drop off. I mean, Marvel became a product in my eyes, like midway through phase 2 or something. To that
I was gonna say phase 2.
So,
yeah.
Like, I think that this is the people that we use this on when we drop this meme. I think it goes over their heads because they don't see themselves as consumerists or as people, the same type of people who would still call Marvel movies art or say all art is subjective. If you made it, it's art. And back to what your point was earlier, no, just because you made something doesn't mean it's art. Like, if I write a song that uses GDEC, I don't consider that art. That was just me fucking around making something I know will sound good to people,
Yeah, exactly. Unlike, like bring it up, like it definitely is for the viewer, like it's for the consumer. That's what this meme is for, I guess. But I still don't think there's a big issue with being a person that consumes product and gets excited for next product, because that's kind of what like our entire existence is conditioned us to do. Like, we live like this. It's fucking so deep, I guess, but like, I don't know, I'll go down this road since Lofty's not here. Like, we live in a capitalist society. We're literally conditioned from birth. Like, your entire existence is conditioned for you to consume product. And I think the issue comes when companies just assume that you're going to consume product and get excited for next product because it is a product and not because it's a good product. Or like, I can go buy a t-shirt from Walmart and like, yeah, it's fine. I guess it's wearable, like if it's a movie, I'd compare it to like fucking Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I'm wearing a shirt I bought at Spencer's right now. I just got it because Sonic was on it, and I'm a Sonic the Hedgehog fan. Like,
exactly. Yeah. And like, that's the cool thing. It's like, sometimes you find like, when I go to Hot Topic, sometimes I find good anime shirts, and like, I know they're not good quality shirts, but like, it's important to me. And like, that product means something to me. We're like, I feel like there's a difference between that and then like good products. And there is such thing as good products that are not art. Like fucking, I don't know. Like, I guess phase 2 or phase 3, you know what I mean? Like Endgame and stuff. Like, those are really good products.
We go back to Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift songs are objectively well-written songs. That does not mean they're objectively artistic songs.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's entirely okay to consume and not be ashamed that you consume those products, because it's kind of the world that we live in. And like, what are you supposed to change the chemistry of your brain so you don't?
No. You guys are right. I also got a drink, so that's why it took me a little longer.
Oh no.
I'm drinking white rum, orange juice, cranberry juice, and it's pretty good. What's up, Blaine? You found us. I'm just gonna give my take quick. I think one of the conditions to for this meme to like work is if this person is because he talks about it, but if this person is incapable of accepting any criticism whatsoever, then suddenly you have the don't ask don't ask questions part of this meme. It fits those people, because if for example, like Mahler or Platoon, or if somebody starts like shitting all over like Miss Marvel or something, and then you get like a Marvel stan or somebody coming in and saying like the movie is like flawless and perfect or whatever, and has like nothing wrong with it, and it's like, and then like, or if somebody just has a criticism, this has happened to you, I'm sure. You just like criticize something, and then like people will like call you racist, or people will be like, "Oh, you're so negative. You're so negative." They resemble this person. They're just like, don't ask questions.
Just about every video, despite the fact that I also make positive videos. It's wild.
Yeah, but like, don't ask questions. just force yourself to enjoy the product, no matter how much you don't like. Don't step on anyone's toes. Don't make anybody upset. Like, don't talk. Like, it's almost like you're not allowed to make fans of the thing upset by saying that it's bad. Like, it's very like pussy like mentality.
I feel like
it's like, yeah,
the opposite of this is true too, where like sometimes I feel like people go into products, like if we're talking about movies that are, you know, clearly products and not art, people go into those with like their artistic glasses on, and they ask way too many questions. Like if you start asking a bunch of questions about Pacific Rim, you're not going to have a good time. But that's not what that movie's for. It's for you to not ask questions and for you to watch big robots hit big monsters. Like, I feel like that is also lost. Like the intent behind the product or the art, you know, is just as important. Like I was going to tell this story earlier. It's like a really weird random story, but I went on tour with these dudes once, and they made like techno metal, and they were very French, and all their lyrics were just about partying, and it was like the most cringe thing I'd ever heard, dude. I hated it so much. Then we started the tour. We hung out with these dudes, and I got to know them, and over the course of like 3 weeks, I fucking fell in love with their music. And it went from being something that I was like cringing at to like getting the context of who they were and like what they wanted to do and like understand where this music was coming from. And then I appreciated it in a different way. And I feel like that's like, you got another.
Bro, that happened to me with Hollywood Undead, because I used to be a booking agent and promoter and got to work with a lot of big, because once I realized I was shit at playing music, I moved to start my own business to just bring in people who are good at playing music, and that is exactly my experience with Hollywood Undead. I used to think they were the most cringe wannabe homo ass band ever, and then got to actually know them and whatnot and listen to their music. I was like, okay. All of a sudden, this makes a whole lot more sense. They're like a modern version of the Beastie Boys. They're being satirical, but no one understands they're being satirical. They're taking it seriously.
Yeah, like it's so important to try and take the intent of what a person is trying to accomplish and like where they're coming from when you're like trying to critique something, I guess. It's like when you were talking to Platoon about Avatar, like a lot of his critiques are coming from a place where like if you take into account everything that's ever existed, he has great points. But also, if you take into account what James Cameron was trying to accomplish, like what his intent behind that movie was, he executed it flawlessly, which I think is more important to me.
Right.
Hey, you also did one sentence Lofty couldn't do in 2 hours.
Well, I don't know. I think I did a good job. I think some people just
no. It was a great stream. I had fun with it.
I think Avatar was intended for the people that liked it, honestly, and that you also have to take into account who the movie is made for. Like Martin Scorsese today came out and said, actually, this is interesting. Martin Scorsese today, or not, whatever, recently said that 3.5 hour long Killers of the Flower Moon was not intended for everybody. It was intended for a specific kind of viewer, because obviously he was like, I don't expect everybody to like my movie because it's very long, it's very slow. But he's like, I didn't make it for everybody. I made it for people that would like it.
Yep.
So
well, no, I liked it. So when Backface brought up Avatar, it gave me a thought that I hadn't really had up to this point. But there are rare instances where art and product can coincide. They are the same thing, in that like normies who just want to watch a popcorn movie are going to enjoy. Star Wars is another good one. They're going to enjoy the normie popcorn stuff. However, if you love the artistic merits behind set design, or not set design, but computer generated effects. Thank you. Then that's going to speak to the art nerd who's into that sort of thing, and the Avatar does bridge that gap, which it's the argument I have for Nickelback. I know people hate when I say this. I think the reason Nickelback is dude, me too. I think they're one of the most versatile bands in of the modern times, and that I think that's why people hate them so much. Is like they have a soft pop pop rock top 40 song, metalheads hate it. Then they get this heavy metal song on whatever your local heavy radio station is, and the pop rock people hate it. Like Nickelback, they've got a fucking disco song, and it's awesome. Like the fact that Nickelback is too diverse hurts them more than it helps them, unless you're keen on music and can appreciate stuff like that.
And that's like fair. Talking about like kind of bringing it back to Asmongold, which is like the people like Cameron is such a good example, because he's a person who he's like an artistically inclined person, and you can tell because of the way that he creates what he creates. Has a insanely acute artistic talent for what he
Yeah.
does. But at the same time, he can understand the product side of things. And I feel like that is so rare because like most artists, like you were saying, Leon, like especially with bands, once they get caught up in the product side of things, they get really shitty. Like a lot of like Marvel Studios, like once they became a product, they got way worse. They got worse and worse like over time. And I feel like it really undercuts the talent of being able to like create value in an artistic sense and also create value in a product sense.
People look at me with
look at
complete
this photograph. You can see the
People look
hand
at me
towards
with
the
shock and
Nickelback.
awe when I tell them that my favorite solo Marvel movie is Ant-Man. That's because I feel like Ant-Man is one of the most original and refreshing. Even at the time when it came out, I was like, oh, this is refreshing. It's not the same thing over and over. Like, I to this day love Ant-Man and the first Thor, and people are flabbergasted at that because those are some of the more disliked of the original set of Marvel films. And I was like, they did something original for me that I wasn't getting out of the others. You know, Thor not so much because there weren't a bunch of them at the time, but I love Thor to this day. Love Thor and Ant-Man.
Matters is
I want to talk about this
Gundam,
Scorsese thing because he references and Gundam also, but here, this is the Scorsese part.
the opinion of the people that are buying the product. Like, it doesn't, like, your opinion on it, like, just because you do it doesn't, like, nobody cares. Like, it's not relevant. It's like whenever one of these, like, you know, really well-respected.
What's that?
I didn't know Gundam stole your look. He went from a cartoon to a
I know, bro.
YouTuber model.
I gotta ask him more how he did that. I'm actually gonna try to hit him up because I need to do custom assets like that. It's pretty cool.
And really respectable directors talks about how bad Marvel is. Shut up,
come
man.
on, bro.
Shut
Okay,
up.
get him out of here. Get him out of here. The dude who literally looks like a pedophile and lives like one is going to take a shit on Martin Scorsese, not on my watch. Not on my goddamn watch.
Okay, so he got a lot of shit for this.
Oh, fucking Gundam, man.
That was funny as shit, though.
Gundam, Gundam is getting a lot of shit for people like making fun of his appearance or whatever. You know,
But it's the internet. Get over it. That's what
it's a joke. It's a joke. You know.
Yo,
Um,
Asmongold's ugly as fuck, dude. Like,
yeah, he is ugly.
Like,
But,
why
like,
can't we say
I don't care. I'm jealous of his facial hair. I
Look,
wish I could
look.
get something more full like this.
I agree that like arguments about looks or whatever like are really like low IQ, but it's like yeah, I everybody does it.
Well, not.
Every
I'd
side-
say it's low IQ if you're using
Yeah.
it as an actual argument. But what Gundam did was clearly a joke. There's
Yeah.
a difference
I know,
between
I know,
making an argument and making a joke.
Yeah.
But the problem is Asmongold fans do this all the time. Like Asmongold fans would do this about like I don't know like Kathleen Kennedy or whoever they hate. You know, they'll make fun of her face or they'll make fun of somebody being fat. Like Asmongold makes fun of fat people. Asmongold shit on furries a bunch during that stream. You know what I mean? He's making fun of furries. Like whatever.
Respectable.
But like this is interesting. He's equating. Why did he bring up Scorsese here? I don't understand. Like do you guys see a parallel here?
Ever one of these, like, you know, really well respected. It's not
hold on a minute, hold on.
relevant. It's like your opinion on it, like, just because you do it doesn't, like, nobody cares.
Oh, okay. So essentially what he's saying is, Martin Scorsese's opinion about Marvel is irrelevant because normies go see Marvel movies and they don't care. And he's saying nobody cares. And it's like, actually, Marvel's losing a lot of money.
And
It's just dumb. Like, I don't understand his point. Anyway, go ahead.
This is where, like,
I'll push back on this a little bit because when he says nobody, again, that's a generalization. I feel like anyone who just uses their brain for half a second knows he doesn't actually mean nobody. Yeah. We use those shortcut terms in our language. Now, should he be using shortcut terms? I mean, that's up for debate, but we all do it. So I think that's something that is an unfair criticism.
This is where I take the context, though, that he is definitely talking about money. Because why else would you bring up this point if you're not talking about popularity and money? It's like, obviously no one cares because these movies make money, and he is equating value of art with how much money it makes.
Yeah, and he said, "Shut up, old man." Like, why does he have to shut up? Why can't he give his opinion? That doesn't make any sense. Like, unless Asmongold is saying, he did say artists' opinions don't matter. And then he followed it up with Martin Scorsese's opinion about Marvel doesn't matter. it sounds like he's saying any criticism of popular things, period, is irrelevant and nobody should do it because it doesn't matter.
That's exactly what he's saying.
Yeah, like why? Like that's stupid.
And he also brings up like when in his long response video, he talks about how like he basically brings up the meme of like, well, why do you participate in society and also critique society?
Oh, I'm gonna go to that. I'm gonna go to that after this.
Okay, yeah. It kind of ties into the same idea though, which is like he really is saying like, if you don't like popular thing, you can't complain about it because it's popular for a reason. Like, yes.
Maybe I'm just giving people the benefit of the doubt too much because the way I understood it was there's a like don't throw invalid criticism for the sake of criticism. Like if you're going to criticize like the AI stuff, for example, is invalid criticism because there's no evidence of the Palworld stuff being AI. So,
yeah.
No, that has nothing to do with what Scorsese's he's saying about Scorsese.
Oh no. I'm jumping back to what he was talking about with Palworld. I mean.
Oh yeah,
I think it's like he's equating like it's like people that eat McDonald's and bitch about McDonald's being shitty. Like
it's like shut up, nobody cares. Well, that's what he does. He eats McDonald's. He eats like shitty food.
Yeah, and like, dude, we can all eat McDonald's and know it's bad, enjoy it, and know that there is better, more high quality things out there. Even though the vast majority of people won't go to like some fucking snooty restaurant and pay $80 for a plate, that doesn't mean that there's less value in that than there is in McDonald's. We all inherently know that.
Well, no, not only that, because like I don't eat McDonald's hardly at all, but every now and again, dude, I just get a hankering for a McDonald's burger or whatnot. But let's say, you know, if I'm on the drive to my day job and I forgot to pack a lunch or whatever, so there's more value in getting a McDonald's cheeseburger or whatever in 2 minutes of drive through line than stopping at a restaurant and waiting for an hour. Like my value is the time, not the dollar value. So
yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. That's like the same thing with somebody with Palworld, for example. Like if people want to play Palworld because it's they can relax and play with their friends and have fun with it, the value to them in that situation is a game that they can relax and play with their friends. Like it's not like go play Elden Ring because it's so much better. Well, Elden Ring is a 100-hour long difficult game. Like you're not always in the mood to play it. Like I totally am 100% on board with his take on Palworld's popularity. I don't think any of us would disagree why it's popular.
None of us would, but so many people on X have taken exception to even that aspect of his criticism, whatever you want to call it, which is mind-blowing to me because it's like, dude, enjoy what you like. How many of us have told Disney Star Wars fans, man, if you like it, go for it, watch it, but acknowledge it's bad. Like there's a difference between trying to claim something's good or just saying I like shitty. I love the movie Basket Case. That is one of the most awful B horror movies of all time. I love it. Like I acknowledge it's bad. It's cool. Just
and I even agreed with like part of the clip you were playing earlier when he says that like I can't remember what he says, but basically he says like there is a purpose and there is like a I can't remember the word that he uses, but he's basically saying there is like a benefit to having a bunch of people enjoy and consume your art. Like I talk about it in my video, basically saying like, yeah, the only benefit of that, in my eyes at least, is like you create something, you get the creative process, and like that's what I think is the most important part. But then when people actually consume your product, if you're putting it out as a product, because then it becomes a product,
right?
It enables you to continue the artistic process, and that's like the only positive to me, at least when you're an artist, is like when you're successful enough with your art that it is sold and you can continue creating art because of your art. The benefit of that is you get to create art, not that you got money from your art. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a slight nuance.
There is a benefit to getting money, but it should be the cherry on top, not the shake itself.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's actually way more complicated than that because it's just it's a multitude of benefits. Like sometimes you want to sell a comic book. If you do a comic book fundraiser, sometimes you really desperately need the money so you can make a comic book that you want. Like that's a give and take. It's like a comic book fundraiser is like I desperately need money to make something that I want to make. It's like that's fine. That's totally fine.
Totally.
Well, I mean, I just put out merch for my channel, right? And I'm in no way, shape, or form expecting to get rich off that merch or whatnot. What I know is over the last year, I've had a beautiful time fostering a community on my channel of individuals that show up for every stream who I know by name at this point, who I get to talk with and have genuine, honest, fun conversations. And if we agree, we agree. If we disagree, they're still back next stream and we can have fun. And so the idea of making the show, like, yeah, the $10 cut I'll get from the t-shirt company or whatever it is, that's a cool little bonus. But like to me, it meant more to me knowing that, hey, these people that have been enjoying watching me for the last year now get the opportunity to do what I just did, what I said for the Sonic. Oh, I went to Spencer's and bought a Sonic shirt because I like Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, they can now get that same fulfillment and be like, man, I love this Words of Paradise channel. Now I can rep that in public and whatnot. It's the money is secondary. It's cool, but it's secondary.
Yeah, and this goes back to what Bagface was saying. I want to play this part quick because you started talking about it.
What do you think that their opinion on Elon Musk is? I bet they think he's a terrible fucking person. A lot of people think Elon Musk is transphobic. A lot of people think he's an asshole. So this person is on a platform building the brand and continuing to make billions of dollars for a person who I think that they would assume is actively at war against certain identities that they either sympathize with or are part of. So whenever this person can't even stop their own entertainment and, you can't even avoid using a social media platform, no, I'm not going to respect your opinion on telling me what video games to play.
Okay. He's talking about people freaking out like Hogwarts Legacy and telling him that he shouldn't play Palworld because of some sort of moral ethic. And I think he's right here. I think he's actually correct because
I agree with his stance here.
This happens all the time, people. Now, I think there's a big difference, and I'll get to that in a second, between Palworld and labor, slave labor and stuff. But in generally speaking, when people complain about things on an iPhone, that like when they complain about like dire circumstances, like it sort of just rubs me the wrong way sometimes. Or Twitter, like if they say they're going to get off Twitter and they don't, like, I'm going to leave Twitter, I'm going to leave the US,
I'm going to move to Canada if Trump is elected.
Like I understand what he's saying. However, there's a big difference between I have no choice but to, if I want to interact with the world, if I want to like influence people, I have to have a smartphone to do that. And I have no choice but to pick one that was made with slave labor versus there's a million survival crafting games out there. I don't have to play the one that was like shitting on artists and stealing their content. Like there's a big difference between those two things. I get it. I'm still not saying people have to not play Palworld, but like it's very easy to just, if you have a moral ethic, just go, well, I'm not going to consume this product. I'm just going to play another product. It's not the same thing as an iPhone, I don't think.
Yeah.
What do you think?
He's like he's making a
because
weird...
if there was an iPhone that was made like in the US with actual like US citizens like creating everything and like mining the lithium or whatever in the US, like there's no shady bullshit happening, nobody died making my phone, I would buy that phone if it wasn't like 10 times more expensive. I would definitely buy that phone.
Yeah.
To be fair, I also think there's an argument to be made that people don't care that little black children are dying mining the lithium on their phones or whatever. People they will claim to care, but they're making that claim on Twitter to show to virtue signal effectively when they don't care. That's when all the Ukraine stuff was going on. My whole stance was better Ukraine than me-crane. Like that's how I legitimately felt. Sucks for them, but I'd rather that be happening to them than me. At least I'm honest about it.
Well, I think like I don't want to get too deep into politics, but like
it's politics, but yeah,
it's kind of the same idea as when slavery was ending, and a lot of the arguments against ending slavery were like, oh my god, all the products are going to get so expensive if we stop using slaves, and then people stopped using slaves, and then life continued. We continued on.
I know.
And like I think the scale of how much things would change if we didn't do the awful things that we do to get the products that we do is probably inflated to a certain extent. I'm sure that things would get more expensive, but also like, putting things in place so that people can mine with tools instead of their hands and kids don't die, it's probably not going to raise the price of your iPhone as much as you think it is.
Yeah. And also, maybe this is a better way to put it. Slavery, okay, there's nothing wrong with
slavery.
Talking
Go on,
about there's nothing wrong with slavery. Bottom line. End of stream. Bye, everybody. No, my thoughts are all over the place because I have like 3 different analogies that I want to talk about. But the one is that okay? He's almost now. I've heard him. I can't play this whole stream. It's 2 hours long. But like, he talks about. There's a lot of people like myself complaining that Palworld is lazy. Also, sort of roasting the fact that like it steals assets and saying that's a bad thing, and that I think that's bad game design. I think it's unethical, and I think that should not be encouraged. Blah 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 blah. There's nothing wrong with me saying these things. There's just nothing wrong with like anybody saying that, and it's almost like what he's saying here is like, if you bring that up as an argument, why do you have an iPhone? And it's like, well, I understand what you're saying, but like that doesn't change the fact that I think theft, IP theft, is bad. I'm allowed to have an opinion about copyright. I'm allowed to have an opinion about lazy game development, and also, if you talk about like the moral dilemma of slavery, it's like that's like generations old. Like we're dealing with like today, like
in the U.S., we still got slavery all over Africa, but
yeah,
China basically has slavery. Like, let's go.
Yeah, but somebody brought up slavery. I'm trying to remember the context. Now I forget it. But like, yeah, I'm not telling people they can't play Palworld. I'm just criticizing it, and I'm getting a lot of shit for criticizing it, and so it's making me double down on it.
You like Palworld as well. Like, that's the thing. People get so upset when you criticize something you like. Like, I'm a massive Godzilla fan. Let's be real. Most Godzilla movies suck, but they're so much fun. Like you can criticize things you like. That doesn't make you the bad guy.
That's not the way the internet works, though, man. It's
black
you don't
and
understand.
white.
I know.
It's like you either hate something, you cannot, or you love something and it is perfect.
It's crazy to me how many people have come after Lofty for criticizing Palworld, which you've said on multiple occasions that you like, that you enjoy, you've dumped 20 plus hours into. People don't put 20 hours into something that they hate unless they plan on making a Platoon style 5-hour analysis video. Like, no, you put 20 hours into it because you're having fun playing it with your brother. And like what's the people that go out of their way to, because I believe they are willfully ignoring that. It's not that they didn't see it. You've been very vocal about liking Palworld, so people are willfully ignoring that, and that to me is so much worse than the ignorance.
It's annoying. It's annoying because then I have to like waste my time telling all these people. Well, actually, I have played the game. I have 30 hours. It's just like a waste of my time. But then also this guy, okay. This is so weird to me. Does anybody know who this person is? Steel of Legs History?
Oh, it's no Steel Leg. No, Hail the Lore is a regular in my streams. But
I know who that is. But this guy. Okay, this is what happened. Mr. Beast says, I grew up playing so much Pokemon on my Game Boy, and it's crazy that all of the games now are still basically the same thing. I would give anything for them to reinvent the model. All I said was that Arceus reinvented the model, and then I think Words of Paradise actually commented on this. But
yeah, you and I had a much better back and forth about this subject than Steel Leg of History, because you and I had an actual dialogue as opposed to what Steel Leg did, which is come in with baseless accusations that completely ignore the nuance of what you're saying.
Yeah. I was like, Pokemon is moving in the right direction, whether you want to call Arceus a spinoff or not. It's like, clearly they're going to see the success of Arceus and they're going to implement that in the main line. I think that's inevitable. But like, all Nintendo has to do is improve the innovation, the direction. And some guy this guy comes in. Apparently he's like a person in the community. I don't know. Everybody was mad that I blocked him. So
literally never heard of this dude until this interaction you had with him.
He says, you just want to not listen. I have to take a breath because it's a run-on sentence. Here we go. You just want to not listen to anybody. Let's start over. You just want to not listen to anyone who knows the game better. I've been playing it longer, know the game since it came out in 98. They have done nothing to keep us now. All they do is make the game over and over, nothing new. Okay.
Which even as a Pokemon, like a modern day Pokemon, I don't want to say a hater, but not a fan, I can look at it and say that's objectively wrong. What he said is wrong. They
Yeah,
have
it's
done
wrong.
things. There are new things. There are improvements. I
It's
might not like
changed a
them as a
lot
Crazy.
consumer,
since
but that's
98, yeah.
objectively wrong.
It's so wrong. This makes me think the person doesn't play Pokemon and they're just they're
Regurgitating.
hearing through the grapevine that there's this like copy pasta that happens all the time with Pokemon where people say Gen 1 had the best designs. You know what I mean? Like people pretend that there's no good
That's
new
also wrong.
designs
Gen 3
after
supremacy,
Gen.
baby.
Yeah, but people like fake. They don't look at the roster of Pokemon. They don't even know what the designs are, and they just pretend that they have bad designs. And it's like you don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, then he accused me of saying that I don't want to listen to people who know the game better, and he's been playing it longer. It's like, how do you, bro? I've been playing. I bought Red and Blue. I bought Red on my Game Boy when I was in like the 3rd grade. Like my mom got it for me. Why are you coming in making these stupid, ridiculous assumptions? This is bad faith, and this is like childish. So I responded to the guy. I said, I've played and beat every Pokemon game ever released since launch, retard. And then he got upset that I called him a retard.
And then he wrote like a retard. There was no punctuation, improper tenses. Like you wrote it like you had a touch of the downs.
He did write it that way, and then he says this. So you want to call me names, and I have never done that to retard. I played everything single, and they have never changed. All they've done is drive us away. All you're doing is being a ass to those who are challenging you. If you want to call me a name, do better, kid.
No
I'm like,
period at the end.
No period. Like horrible grammar. So at this point, I'm just like, when I see people like this, I see a lot of people like this on the internet. That people have horrible writing comprehension or writing abilities, and like they can't communicate. I block these people all the time. This
Dude,
person
if I see a tweet like this that I personally wrote, like let's say I sped through typing a tweet and I'm like I reread it, like, oh, I immediately delete the tweet and then re-respond because I'm not going to be looked at as one of those morons that can't type a fucking sentence.
I know, but like, yeah, exactly. And so anyway, I blocked the guy. I didn't think anything of it. I just like, I don't want this guy spamming. I don't want to read this guy's gibberish. I don't want to waste my time. Anyways, apparently I'm fragile. Hail of the lore, whatever. We had a back and forth. I think this guy's like defending him because he's like his brother or something. But it's like I can't remember why I brought this up. We were talking about something right before this. It has something to do with
slavery.
Just criticizing Palworld is now like people will come after you for the dumbest reasons just because you criticize a game that like is like popular. I don't understand it, man. Like,
would you like me to explain it to you? I've learned a lot
Go
over
ahead.
the years, especially when I was in the political space on Twitch a lot. And it made me realize, like, especially when it comes to products and things and movies and stuff like that, people like we have no sense of identity in our culture anymore. So I think people are forced to equate their identity with products and with the things that they like. And the internet has made it so, like, when you critique something that someone sees as like something they like and they've made a part of their person, you are critiquing them directly. It's like it's because it took me a long time to realize, because people always take it as like a personal attack. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, calm down. Like, you're just talking about something that neither of you have anything to do with, which is crazy. Like, if you were a developer on the game, maybe I'd understand like going this hard. But like, I think it's just the lack of being able to find a place in the world that we live in. And
it's insecurity. Insecurity.
Exactly.
It's such a weird concept, though, that like I won't lie. I'm glad that you've gotten to the point where you can understand it, Bagface, because like it's something that I still have trouble wrapping my head around. So when we were doing the Rebel Moon review on Gooch's channel, dude, me and Platoon went at it in terms of like completely and fundamentally disagreeing. And then you want to know what happened when the stream was done? We were completely fucking chill. We were laughing, having fun. Like, it was almost as if not agreeing on a movie wasn't the end of the goddamn world.
Yeah, dude. It's hard for people to understand that. Like, me and Platoon went at each other about like Israel-Palestine stuff a little while ago on Twitter. And like the week after, I edited a video for him. And we're like, hey, what's up? And I was like, dude, I just want you to know we're cool. And he's like, yeah, we're cool. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. It's like, these are just opinions. It's not your whole existence Just because someone holds a different opinion on you, even if it's something as important as like geopolitical things, like outside of movies and stuff, that doesn't mean that someone's a bad person. And I think people have lost that thread, and they just immediately equate that to you being a bad person.
At the very least, you should limit your accusations of like who is or is not a bad person to like the actual really bad people. Like at the very, very least, like if somebody is like taking advantage of somebody, or if somebody is like defending something that you think is like absolutely abhorrent, okay, fine, don't be friends with that person. Like, or at least just don't like a lot of the times I will I've never shut off communication with somebody over reasons like that, but I won't ever engage with somebody.
Does they go out of your way to instigate a conversation either?
Yeah, I'll block people. I'll just like this is just dumb Twitter stuff, but like I won't like go out of my way to be friends with somebody who is against something that I like am super duper hardcore about, like being immoral.
Yeah.
And although, yeah, like I said, if I'm already friends with somebody,
you get into a different talk though, like things that are because like immoral or against your values. No rational person is going to be like, oh, your thoughts on Disney tell me everything I need to know about your moral standpoint. Like rational people don't work like that. Now, if people want to say like, oh, your opinions on the political, on elections or whatnot, that says a lot about your morals. I'm like, I disagree, but you know what? If that's the way you feel, fair enough. I can see the argument for that, but not for something as stupid as fucking pop culture.
But that's exactly.
There's also like
pop culture.
I tell this story all the time, which is like the way I got popular on Twitch was I was like pretty far left, and I would go into really far right spaces and like have actual conversations with like Trump supporters and Proud Boys and like people that were very, very different than me. And oftentimes you find like those aren't bad people. Like they're just people with differing views than you. And when you get to like the basis of how they are as an actual person, they're usually good. Like good example. I don't know if Lofty, Gary, like Nerdrotic.
Yeah.
Like I think most of the shit that he says is abhorrent, and I think he has terrible taste, and I don't really enjoy his videos. But I bet you he is super chill to hang out with, and he seems like a great dude. I don't gotta agree with everything, every position he has to understand that he could also be a good person. You know what I mean?
Well, did either one of you watch the Ben Shapiro Destiny debate?
I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was.
I loved it. The reason it was so great though was because neither one dominated each other. It was very much a. I was very impressed that Destiny was able to pretty much go tit for tat with Ben Shapiro, and I bet that's going to piss off both sides because there was not a clear winner.
No, yeah, that's a great point. There's 2 points to be made about that debate in reference to this sort of like conversation we're having. Number one, they were able to talk and have rational discussion without yelling. I think part of that was Lex Friedman.
Yeah, probably.
But like I've met Destiny, I've had breakfast with Destiny, and I've hung out with him a bunch of times. I used to go to a bunch of debate conferences and stuff, and do live streaming. I would do the tech stuff, make sure that the stream is running. But he's a nice guy in person. He's the same person he is on that debate that he is in person, that he is on his stream. People like that are cool because they can leave the drama on Twitter. Actually, when I had breakfast with Destiny, it was like me, Destiny, Lauren Southern, Brittany Venti, a couple other people. And it was we were just talking about like pets and like movies, and not a single one of us was talking about politics. And it was funny because like you would expect us to start like being autistic about like, oh my god, like Hassan Piker, blah, blah. Like that's not what happens.
Yeah.
And
I found that's normally the consensus. Like most of my friends are rather left leaning. I've got a couple that are really right leaning. I'm easily the most centrist of my core group of friends. We just rarely talk politics, or when we do, we know when to cut it off and be like, all right, we're getting heated. Let's go play some Pokemon. The MOBA one, Pokemon Unite, or whatever. If we're gonna be angry, let's be angry about the fucking other team, not each other's political stances. Like that's it. Most people know when to I would think if you're in close enough friendships, most people know when to taper those conversations off. And like, I disagree fundamentally with most of what Destiny says, but the authenticity comes through when he speaks. I love watching Destiny, even if I don't agree. Like, that's a sign of a good, a stable individual.
Yeah. And also, I was actually more impressed with Ben Shapiro because I don't know how you guys feel about Ben Shapiro.
Not a fan.
But
I used to be a major fan, and I think, in my like early 20s, basically when you're first getting into political talks and you see Ben Shapiro destroys, like those are really cool when you're young and dumb, and then you grow up and start having actual political opinions. You're like, oh, no wonder he was only debating high schoolers. Like,
yeah, but what I mean, well, I've always thought he was pretty smart. But like, what I mean by that is his show that he does is very almost like predictable, somewhat scripted. He's very comfortable kind of talking to his audience.
mm-hmm.
And
I respect him more than I like him is a good way to put it.
Well, yeah, that's fine. But like, I expected him to show up to that debate and be outclassed in terms of like, of knowledge of everything, because like I said, he's so comfortable just doing his episodic show that it's almost like he doesn't even really have to be that knowledgeable. He can just look shit up on the day and do his thing. But he retains information so well, and like in that debate, it came out. It was just like that guy actually knows everything about all of these topics. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to debate him about anything because
it was the Destiny Ben Shapiro debate was the first time I actively enjoyed watching Ben Shapiro in probably 2.5, 3 years. And like it was almost like rediscovering him when I was in my early 20s and like 2016 or whenever it was, or mid 20s, whenever that was. Like it was taking me back to a time when I actively enjoyed being in the sort of political engagements with Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, man. It was just fascinating. I highly recommend checking it out. I wanted to play. Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Just quick. I'm gonna go after this, but
yeah, I saw that.
It's kind of the sign of like a good mind, I guess, in my opinion, is when you or like, I don't know, it's kind of it helps me see people in a better way and like understand how things end up the way they do when like those two people are so well versed on so many topics and they clearly know a significant amount about those things, and they both come to different conclusions. It's just like a good it's a good reminder of like, yeah, everyone sees the world in a different way. Like you can have all the same information, but like your experience of those things is formed by so much more than just actual facts and like what is said and what happens. You know what I mean? It's so much more complicated than that. Like, I do appreciate that shit.
It's a that's a white pill. Or but I think
or a half white pill in Bagface case.
Yeah, half white pill. Well, Bagface, thanks for coming on. I like talking to you about stuff.
Dude,
I'm sure we disagree a lot about politics, but you know what? Who cares? Because we're all that really matters is like nerd culture, right? Can we all agree about that?
Yes, that's all that matters.
Just like being a nerd, being a video game player, being a movie guy, like politics is like whatever. Go vote.
Understanding the finer points of 17th century Chinese literature.
Politics is just nerd culture, but people think that it matters, and it doesn't. It's the same shit. Yeah. I'll anytime you want to have me back on, man, let me know.
Yeah, dude. We'll hang out.
You too, man. We'll stream.
Yeah, I mean, I plan on hitting you up to be a guest on my show sometime soon. I don't have guests coming back on until mid February, but I'm gonna be hitting you up real soon because I love your takes, brother.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool, dude. Go follow. Dude, I forgot. I didn't post your channel. What's your channel called?
Okay. I am Bagface.
I am Bagface on YouTube. Everybody go check him out. He's cool channel. Cool channel.
Have fun, you guys.
You have a good night, dude.
See you soon.
Yep. See you, dude. Hey, Leon. I'm gonna play one more. I don't know how much longer you have. It's up to you. I can do this solo, or it's up to you. But I have one more part that I wanted to talk about with this stream, with this Asmongold thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm more or less free to go as long as you want. I'm technically working while I do this. I'm working my day job or night job, so I have to dip out now and again to actually work. But in general, no, I'm good to go for a bit.
Sketch DM me and then I'll shoot you a link. I can't find you on Twitter, but I'll bring Sketch on for a little bit. Oh shit! I just got a cool DM and I don't know what to do about it. Okay, I'll figure it out later. Do you ever get like a cool DM on stream and you're like, whoa? Anyway,
Never on stream. I always get them early in the morning, and since I work nights, I'm never awake for them. So I'm like, oh, I feel like an asshole. Like one time you messaged me and you're like, hey, I'm doing a spaces about I don't remember what the subject matter of it was, but I was like, oh, I wish I'd have seen this, but I was asleep because I don't usually go to bed till 6 a.m. in the morning. So
yeah. I same. I go to roughly 5:36 sometimes. I'll go to bed. Kind of shitty. I my schedule's horrible.
Yeah, so I mean, I love my schedule because I would prefer to work nights and then have the nighttime to myself and sleep during the day. But it makes streaming and whatnot rough because no one wants to be like, oh, it's 3 o'clock on a Monday. Who wants to be on that stream? Like, well, at least it doesn't coincide with FNT or whatever. There's that.
yeah. I mean that's better than that's what I said tonight. It was like I don't like streaming Fridays because FNT, Razor Fist, what else is happening? Platoon has a stream tonight, so. But well, I sent a DM to Sketch anyway. I wanted to play this quick, and I can't remember what it's about. But as soon as I hit play, I'll remember. I wanted to see what chat was saying here. Well, thank you for joining, Lemon Creature. I appreciate. Yeah, dude, go for it. I appreciate your appearance on my stream instead of lurking. Either way is cool. I don't care. Sketches might be coming soon. But yeah, I think Asmongold, it's just frustrating to me. It's frustrating because if I sat down with Asmongold and had a chat with him, I don't know. Everybody has main character syndrome, so I don't feel weird saying this because everybody feels this way about themselves. But I think I'm a better person than him to bridge the gap between Palworld fans and Palworld haters. I'm not saying that I should whatever. I'm not like jealous of his like following or whatever. Good. I like watching his content. I just think that if I sat down with him, I haven't seen now. Maybe other people have good takes on this. I haven't seen it, so I'm talking about myself. But if I sat down with Asmongold, I think we could work something out where people don't hate his guts. I just I think I have some questions that he could answer, and like his chat is feeding him this like sort of antagonistic stuff, and it's just.
Oh yeah, Asmongold's chat is rough with him, and like that's one of the reasons I like him so much. Is I think for the most part he takes it very well.
Yeah.
I've never watched him. I shouldn't say never. I rarely watch Asmongold live, but when I do, because I just don't like using Twitch. But when I do, man, he's got a negative chat, and he's very good about staying on his toes. So I always agree with Asmongold, but I really appreciate him.
Yeah. Sketch, hey, what's up, Sketch? What's going on, buddy? How's it going?
Nice to meet you, Sketch.
Hey, good to meet you. Sorry to crash.
Yeah.
Like this, but yeah.
Your audio is real low, bud.
Well, it's a little low.
Hang on.
I think it's just like leaning a little far away from it. That's all.
Hang on.
It's good now.
Hey, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I had to bring it a little closer.
You're like a handsome Gary Busey. It's incredible.
A handsome Gary Busey?
Handsome
I can't see.
Gary
It's just.
Busey.
I'm a people told me I'm an ugly Colin Farrell.
I'll
No,
admit I'm not had that one yet. That's a new one, but I'll take it.
No, actually, I don't even know. I just made that up. Let's see here. What was I going to do? This is the last thing I wanted to cover because we've been. The problem is I could do an EFAP. No, I should though, but I don't have time. I would EFAP this whole thing. It's just not conducive to my time schedule. But this is what I wanted to talk about here. Let's see what he's talking about.
Why is that artist notable?
Okay. Now I know what he's doing. Okay, before we go into this, Sketch, I want to. If you have anything that you wanted to say about this, did you want to? Did you have anything that like one of us said that you disagreed with, or like?
I don't know if it's anything any of y'all said. I was just saying I'll be Pokemon's like biggest defender up until about like the Switch titles, really.
Yeah, I remember you were saying that, and it's like there's a difference between somebody who is like a Pokemon shill and like somebody who just has fun playing Pokemon games. Like I
Like,
think
I
yeah.
know a lot of people like to give like the 3DS titles like X, Y, RS, and then the Sun and Moon games as like the turning point for like that dip in quality. And you can like that shift to 3D was it? And there's an argument for that.
Yeah.
The shift from like Gen 5 to 6 with 2D to 3D and the like perceived downgrade in quality was nowhere near as steep as it was from like Gen 7 to Gen 8 on the Switch.
Yeah, that's fair.
At least with the 3DS titles, you could still see like the craftsmanship was still pretty much there for like the hardware they were working on. In
I
my
agree.
opinion, like Sword and Shield, there was no reason for those games to have the quality that they did when they came out.
Yeah, I think Sword and Shield is like not as even less impressive to me than like Scarlet and Violet in terms of like an advancement of like at least Scarlet and Violet had an entire open world. Like that's never been done before.
I mean, Gen 8 had something kind of like that with the wild area, and
yeah,
then
but that's
Arceus
just
kind of expanded on that as like a prototype, like Crash Course. But yeah,
Right.
you are correct though, not on at least on that
Yeah.
scale. But the problem
Not on
then
that
is that
scale.
like Scarlet and Violet like doubled down on all the other things that made Gen 8 really bad.
Yeah, yeah. I hope we get yeah. Pokemon is in limbo at the moment, but let's see what Asmongold has to say about artist. Now this could be a whole other stream. I just wanted to touch on it quickly. I don't want to go into so many rabbit holes, but like, I just want to play this quick. This is interesting, I think.
And
So-
you will see that your reasoning will come back around to the fact that that artist creates value that resonates with people such as yourself.
Okay, so
Because people like their work. Exactly.
he's talking about people resonating with artists and the significance that brings to popularity.
The chicken and the egg. Yes, it's a symbiotic relationship. A big part of game sales like Doom Eternal, for example, were driven because of Mick Gordon, the composer that worked on it. And why did people buy it because of Mick Gordon?
And then he brings up
Why did
Marty
that happen?
McDonald.
Marty O'Donnell is another one.
Marty O'Donnell.
Made the Halo music for many years. It's consumer value. Yes.
And he goes on a little bit of
Because they love his work.
he talks about this for a little bit longer. I was just curious what you guys' thoughts are on like consumer value with like a person involved. Does it make the product more valuable because the person is famous or in some way? Like, is that what are your thoughts on sort of this kind of concept? I wish
I
could play the
100%
whole-
agree with him. If someone said
Yeah.
that if Shinji Mikami's name is on a game, I buy it.
Okay,
I think,
yeah.
no, he's right. There is like a certain amount of prestige that comes with having like certain names attached to certain projects.
Okay, and I agree with that. For example, Steven Spielberg, or like that's why he's produced like over 100 movies. You know, you could do the
I
same.
got an example for you that's coming up like literally this week. Argyle. I was kind of interested in the movie, and then it said it's directed by Matthew Vaughn. And I'm like, oh, now you have my interest. Tell me more.
Matthew Vaughn, that's the guy who did wait,
Kingsman.
remind me again. Kingsman. Yeah. That's called his what's it called again? The new thing?
Argyle.
Argyle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
gained
remember through that
more
opening
interest
day.
because I saw that it was going to be the same guy who made Kingsman. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
So when it comes to artistic value, I guess he's making another consumerist argument that famous people, if they're attached to a product, it's going to have more value than if a non-famous person is attached to a product. And my problem with this is that, like,
I think
if you watch
to be
this,
fair, real quick, just to clarify, I think he means
Yeah,
it's
go
going to
ahead.
have more perceived value, not necessarily value, but perceived value.
Maybe not even
Right.
value, just interest, you know?
Because I mean, Spielberg, like you brought up earlier, is a great example of that. People hear Spielberg, they immediately assume it's going to be a quality film, despite the fact that he has made some clunkers or produced some clunkers. Like, but even so, he's got, because of the weight of his name, people instantly are going to have a positive connotation with something they haven't seen or experienced yet, just based on the name alone. Now, that might not come to fruition when you actually see the product, but there's good faith based on the name.
Okay.
Or immediate goodwill, not good faith. Immediate goodwill. Sorry.
Sure. Now, when it comes to like artistic value, though, would you say? I don't know, man. At some point, this kind of falls apart, doesn't it? Like Jake Paul is very fucking popular, but.
Well, I think they have to be popular for their art. Take Christopher Nolan. He is popular because his whole brand is he puts the art of cinema first.
Okay.
As opposed to Jake Paul is not famous for putting his art above insert whatever he's famous for here. So like that's got to be part of their draw. Right.
I'm just trying to make similar. Okay, yeah, it's a good. You're right. Jake Paul's a bad example. Let's stick to like a thing. So like with movies, for example, Steven Spielberg, or let's even pick let's say somebody like Zack Snyder, very popular, versus somebody like Bong Joon-ho. Okay, Bong Joon-ho is a Korean filmmaker. He did Snowpiercer. He did that's his American movie.
He's going to be doing Mickey 17, baby. Too bad that got fucking delayed.
I know. We'll see it though. We'll see it. But so Bong Joon-ho did The Host, a bunch of really good South Korean movies.
Parasite. The Host is
Parasite. He won Best Picture with Parasite. But like you have him, and then let's say compare him to like Michael Bay or something who has a more household name. Doesn't the argument of value fall apart at that point when somebody who is like unknown has more, like arguably more artistic value than somebody, or is it still subjective? And are people making the argument that popularity is inherently more valuable than obscurity? I don't know if Asmongold would agree with this. I don't know what he would say about it. I wish I could talk.
I could be wrong, but I think the argument he's making is that that's irrelevant, and like people are going to go out and buy insert product here because of a name attached to it. But at the end of the day, that's irrelevant to the medium at large.
But also,
like if somebody if Rando director made Raiders of the Lost Ark, it wasn't Steven Spielberg. That movie would still have the following it has, to this day, because it's an objectively good movie.
Well, that's what he says about AI. He says if AI made Raiders of the Lost Ark, it would still have the same following.
He really used Raiders as an example. I missed that.
No, I made that up. He said
that was
he
AI.
said if AI he said if AI made anything period that was on par with another thing that a human would make, or better than a thing that a human would make, people would flock to the AI thing. And it's like I don't know about that.
I disagree. I think that we might get to a point in the future where that could be the case, when AI gets so sophisticated, like the sort of AI you see in like Ghost in the Shell. Maybe then, but as it currently stands, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember where the whole AI discussion is in this thing. You can watch this debate or this. It's a fun thing to watch, I guess. But I just think that go ahead, Sketch. Sorry.
The whole thing about like AI kind of becoming just like a normal thing when it comes to media, as opposed like if there was say like the original Raiders or something, a similar movie was made by a director today, and then there was an AI version, kind of like in the same genre, doing kind of the same thing that came out. I think the big difference would be that at least a lot of people would still gravitate towards the one that was made by a person, because whoever the director is or whoever could still sit down and explain to you the thought process behind the craft, and that in and of itself has a lot of assigned value to it that the AI just isn't going to give.
Does it though? Because we're all in the streams like this because we're film buffs. We care about that stuff. Does that value apply to normies who've never once clicked the special edition, special features portion of their DVD to watch a movie?
Well, yeah, admittedly not, but it may not. But
well, that's what Asmongold is saying. No, but that's what Asmongold is saying. Asmongold is saying that doesn't matter because most people are consumers and most people are just normies and most people don't care about that stuff. Isn't that what he's saying?
I think that is an unfortunate reality. I wish it was different, and I think that folks like us are taking the steps necessary to change that. But that is the unfortunate reality right now. Yes, he is correct there.
Well, Leon, why don't you why is Asmongold the arbiter of whatever like truth he thinks he's representing? Because what you just described, what you just said is like better than anything he said. You said that is the unfortunate reality, but we should be striving for better. I don't think he said anything like that once this entire 2 hours. He's just being complacent with the unfortunate reality, and he is not doing anything with his power with 2 million subscribers. He's doing absolutely nothing to influence people to be more creative, more artistic, more appreciative of innovation. It seems like he doesn't give a fuck about that. That's why people are upset, honestly.
I mean, yeah, that was a big thing that I called out on Twitter.
Yeah.
Into the void was that there seemed to be just a lack of respect, just for the process,
For creativity.
Maybe that's an algorithm thing, because unfortunately, most of the people I've seen taking the reason I was mostly on to this point, still am on Asmongold's side with this, at least in concept, is because most of the people I've seen attacking Asmongold for this take have been doing it in the most mindless, drone, Twitter bot user fashion. It has made Asmongold seem big brain by comparison. So if I saw some people who were pointing out the same things that you guys are pointing out, that hey, here's XYZ artistic reason why he's wrong.
Right.
That would be so much better than the person who blocked me earlier about this conversation, who was being like, AI is going to take my blue collar artist job. That was legitimately what they said.
Okay, hold on a minute. I want to agree with
thing with a blue collar artist job.
Okay, well, I want to agree with you first, and then disagree with you. The good news is bad news. Good news is I agree that people are going too far with it. For example, people are trying to cancel him for saying that nobody cares about giving Native Americans back their land anymore, and he's just right about that. It's like, I think there were people that were like freaking out about him saying that. It's like, well, you can freak out about that, but he's not saying he doesn't care about the atrocities. Like, this is what I was trying to bring up earlier. I forgot the context. Mm-hmm. He's not saying that he doesn't care about slavery in the past. He's saying that it doesn't matter now. And he's making a stance. He's having a stance on reparations. And he's saying that, most people don't care about that like reparations idea, and people are trying to cancel him for that or whatever. And it's like, I don't even disagree with him about that. And it's like, I think these people are taking everything he says and like extrapolating too much from it.
Well, if just coming from this, because again, like all the AI stuff and like just how like consumerism works, it's correct. I think the problem there is that what does that have to do with the subject of why he's being canceled in the first? Like, this is a 2-hour-long stream and like discussion that he's got here, and that's kind of where the discussion went to. It doesn't really have relevance to like the initial topic.
Right.
In my opinion, it's time that he could have spent a lot better in making his case.
I agree, but Words of Paradise, I don't necessarily agree. Well, maybe you should rephrase. Are you saying that it's not a problem that AI is taking jobs away from artists, or are you just saying like one guy? Like,
no, I'm saying when you go on Twitter and you make stupid, baseless statements like that, and those are the sort of statements that the algorithm feeds, it immediately it drains your give a fuck meter. Like when I see the same drones over and over say this, and again, to be fair, it was just one person that said my blue collar art job, but I thought that was a hilarious statement. But when I see people that have just as low IQ, if not lower IQ takes on this Asmongold stuff, it makes it just drains your care about the people that might be actually making good points if the well worded and well meaning tweets aren't being put in your algorithm, for example. Because I don't know about you guys, I only use the For You tab. I don't use the follower tab on Twitter. I only use the For You. That way I see things that are not just my followers.
I do too.
Oh,
I
see,
mean,
that's very interesting. I only use the following tab, and
No.
it'll eventually permeate into my following eventually if it gets enough traction.
See, I don't do that. I use For You.
I'll
on
use
Twitter.
For You if I know there's like a big thing going on that may not reach me necessarily. Like I can see it on trending, but it's not. But like my circles
Okay.
aren't really reacting to it.
See,
That's
it's interesting that that could be part of the reason that we're seeing different types of individuals interact with like this particular story or any story. Really, is just the different algorithms.
Dude, when when the Xbox, one time I clicked on an Xbox Sony like fan interaction thread, and it was a bunch of like Xbox and Sony people like screaming at each other.
Well, those
And
are so much fun.
but what happened after that? For some reason, my whole Twitter feed was nonstop Xbox and Sony fanboys. And I asked people, I was like, "Are you guys seeing this?" And like people were like, "No, what are you talking about?" And I think Twitter just like assumed that I wanted to read those posts.
You don't even have to click on some of them for it to show up. Like for instance, in my trending right now, it's got Chugga Conroy. I haven't clicked on anything related to that, whatever that story is, but people have retweeted it, and it's gotten onto my following tab. So I guess Twitter just thinks I'm interested because it's found it's like friends of mine have been retweeting it.
Yeah,
It's
and I like what Lemon.
Strange.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's weird. I don't like it. I don't like the algorithm. I also don't like the YouTube algorithm for a different reason. But I really
I actually love my Twitter algorithm. I don't know if everyone else has the same experience, but despite me complaining about it just now, like with the Asmongold takes that I've seen some brain dead people have, I usually really enjoy my For You algorithm because it gives me both a lot of things I like and dislike, so I get a very good ratio.
I agree. I think my YouTube algorithm is annoying because on YouTube, if I click on a UFO video when they do like a congressional hearing or something,
that's
and I watch
all you get for the next 3 or 4 days.
All I get is I just like ancient aliens shit for the next 3 days. Yep. I don't want that, I can't fix it now.
That's why I have 4 different. I have my main Words of Paradise account, and then I have 3 alt accounts. That way, I switch between them so my algorithm doesn't get fucked up. I've got one that I use. This is where my movie review stuff is. One that's just general use, whatever. One that's my main Words of Paradise is culture war bullshit, and then I've got one that's about anything related to whatever it is I'm interested to, whether it be music or pop culture that's not culture war stuff, just anything to that effect. It's so messed up that I had to make 4 different accounts on YouTube just because their algorithm is so bad at feeding me stuff.
Well, I want to talk about Lemon Creature's comments in a second, but I just I can't believe more people should be complaining about YouTube because it's like maybe I should do what you do, but like right now I have a bunch of tutorials on how to play Palworld, and I don't want that. I want YouTube to feed me stuff that I'm not going to see, and you know what I mean? Like it's just very, very, very poorly optimized. I'm just tired of it, but and it doesn't matter. Like, and it could be any topic. Like the submarine video. When the Ocean Gate scandal was happening, I was watching interviews, and then I was just getting like a bunch of like submarine analysis stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway,
it's a hot thing for everyone.
Yeah. So. We'll wrap up in a second here in a little bit. It's been going too long, but Lemon Creature says, I really dislike AI art. I think it's far more worthwhile to have human input, brainstorming, discussion for people collaborating ideas than putting prompts into something. And then also, I don't fully understand how AI art works. Of course, maybe I'm wrong in some regards, but I really don't think it would be wise to cut jobs, even concept art storyboarding for it. 100% agree. I 100% agree. I want to do a whole stream about this someday because I think it's important that the human input is maintained as long as possible because I think turning it into a production, like a manufactured product, like conveyor belt thing with AI, with like you don't even know who's behind it because let's face it, AI artists are unknown people. Like they don't matter. So I don't think they will ever matter, and I think there will never be an AI Edgar Allan Poe or an AI Shakespeare or an AI Mozart. There's not going to happen. So no, I don't want that. I don't want the history of. I don't want like that the significant contributions of people like Edgar Allan Poe or H.G. Wells or Shakespeare or Arthur Conan Doyle, or was that his name? Or
Yeah.
Jules Verne or Quentin Tarantino or Guillermo del Toro or Steven Spielberg or Ingmar Bergman or Kurosawa or Andrei Tarkovsky. I could just go on and on and on and on. These people are so fucking important to me. And like whenever people when I talk to people that are like downplaying these artists and game designers like Nobuo Uematsu, the composer of Final Fantasy, like people are like, I talked to people before, they're like, artists don't matter, it's about the product. And it's like, that's so gay. Like half the fun
That's
I have
depressing.
talking about, like are you guys with me? Like half the fun you have talking about your hobbies involves the iconic
Involve
people
the artists
behind them.
themselves. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, this all goes straight back to what
Yeah.
I was bringing up at the beginning. Is like half the fun of being an artist is
Yeah.
breaking down and telling people how you made the thing. You know, like all those times, like Variety has those videos where like director or like stuntman breaks down scene or something, and they just have the board in front of them. They just tell you how they got everything set up.
Yep.
Dude, I don't normally do reaction videos. I do every now and again, but like one of my videos coming out tomorrow is going to be a reaction video because Tom McDonald and Ben Shapiro did a song together, and like I'm going to be dude, it's going to be so I haven't listened to it yet. It's going to be a while when I do the reaction, but I'm going to be titling it. It's going to be me and my best friend. We're both musicians, and I'm titling it, musician reacts to XYZ because I want people to know. Like when I did my reaction to Richmond, North of Richmond, I got flamed. It's easily my most disliked video. I've got loads of hate comments, but I was analyzing it as a musician, not as a culture war. I'm on the right or on the left type of individual. And dude, people were shading me. I'm like, look, I'm breaking down his vocal quality. I'm breaking down the lyricism. I'm breaking down how he played the guitar, stuff like that. And dude, I got hate because it's not that good of a song. Like objectively as a song, it's fine at best. And people couldn't stand that. But like, me,
Sound of Thunder is another
mattered.
one. Sound of Freedom is another one, but that's a controversial statement.
No, I haven't watched Sound of Freedom just because I'm a little bitch when it comes to things happening to kids. So like it was culturally relevant because it was unfortunately political, and like, but people could not wrap their fuzzy little brains around analyzing Richmond, North of Richmond as a song instead of as a cultural statement, and that blew my damn mind.
I can give you one even more just mainstream worthy. All the Barbie discussions that have been going on for like almost a year.
Right.
You're not going to find a greater example of just politics, culture.
Oh my God, I hate it.
You cannot talk about how Greta Gerwig is a good director without being accused of being a soy boy feminist. Like, she's a good director. I don't know what to tell you guys.
Yeah.
I hate when political like normies or political people come in, like they hijack these gaming or like these like hello fellow gamer conversations, and they come in with their political takes and they hijack the conversation, and they act like gamers don't matter, and they're like, well, all that matters is my political opinion about such topic, and it's gay because they don't know anything about video games. And this happened with Grand Theft Auto 6. They were like, people like, that doesn't look anything. This is woke. There's black people in the game, and like there's a woman character. Like they don't know anything. They don't even know what they're talking about.
Dude, again, that's another one. When I made 2 Grand Theft Auto 6 videos. One I made throwing major shade at because of Grand Theft Auto 6. Apparently it's pro-Israel, and that made so many individuals be like boycott Grand Theft Auto 6. So I made a video that was like chronicling all the retarded boycott Grand Theft Auto 6 tweets. and then I made a video talking about how, guys, just because it's starring a chick doesn't make it woke. And again, I lost subscribers over it. I don't give a fuck. What matters to me is the fact that I'm being authentic. But like I think the video was called "Not Everything Is Woke" or something to that effect. But basically, it was like, Furiosa so far doesn't seem woke. Grand Theft Auto 6, like just because there's a fucking woman with it in it doesn't mean it's going to be woke. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys.
Well, I for one am going to be very happy in about a month's time when that live action Avatar comes out, because it will finally put to rest this age-old meme of like, if Avatar came out today, the right would hate it. We will finally get to see like an answer to that
I
question.
heard that for the first time yesterday. I had never heard that before.
I got told that like several years ago because a
What?
former friend tried to link a Vosh video to me, but God bless his soul. I felt
is
my
that?
brain cells dying just staring at that title. Like, you gotta be fucking kidding
Yeah,
me.
I stumbled upon it by accident because somebody had made a post on Twitter yesterday, or at least I saw it yesterday. That was talking about if Metroid came out nowadays,
I've
people
seen
would
that
be
one too.
calling it woke. And I was going through the comments and there was such retardation, and people were saying, "Oh yeah, Avatar would be the exact same way." You know, everyone would be calling Katara woke, and I'd be like, first of all, I didn't grow up with Avatar. It was one of those shows that blew me by. I didn't see it until a couple years ago as an adult, and so I have a different. I don't have any nostalgia for Avatar. If the live action show is great, I'll be happy for the fans. I like Avatar, but I cannot call myself a real Avatar fan. I didn't grow up with it. It didn't impact me. I just hope it's good for the actual fans of Avatar. But that's such a mind-blowing statement that you know the right would hate Avatar. It's one of the most universally beloved cartoons of my generation.
Mhm.
I know. I don't know what that is all about. I'm going to ask you if it's similar, and then we're going to wrap up. This is like the last thing we'll talk about. Is it similar to? Because this is sort of my opinion, and maybe you disagree with me. I think if Kill Bill came out today and there was a trailer,
Absolutely.
I think if there was a trailer, there would be a bunch of people saying, "Oh, here we go again. Another woman beating up men. This looks very feminist. Women are not samurai." I think there would be a reaction to that.
Saving grace would be if a trailer came out today, but it was still Quentin Tarantino, it might get a pass because again,
Sure, maybe.
Like we were talking about earlier, he's got a prestige
I
name.
think you'd get a lot of people, probably from the right, who would be like, Tarantino is one of these progressive activists who like goes ACAB and all that jazz.
Right.
But that goes back, like the prestige and the reputation would probably buy it a little bit of goodwill.
Yeah. So are you saying Avatar is somehow different than that, or like I don't know.
I mean, we got a trailer for the live action one like a few days ago, and I don't remember seeing any like right wing commentators pick it up.
Well, see, I don't.
Something.
Yeah, but I don't know why they would.
I will say Avatar is different though. I'll say Avatar is different because Avatar is animated and animation is not respected.
Wait, I don't know why right wing people are supposed to hate that shit. Like what? Why?
Oh, they're retarded. They shouldn't hate that shit.
That's like the online Twitter left, like running.
Yeah, like why are they saying
the right
that?
Would hate it because they're xenophobic or whatever, or racist.
Oh, that's stupid.
It's because racism.
But that's
different. Prominent female characters, or because it's got environmental messages, or
anti-imperialist.
Yeah, but the trailer has nothing about any of that stuff.
Exactly. I'm saying this is just the lens of leftism just rotting.
Yeah.
People saying the desire for the politics to be correct overriding the media literacy and enjoyment.
Yeah. It's important that the right isn't saying this. The left is saying the right.
The left is saying would happen.
So bananas to me. But also, I believe that people who have a financial incentive in the culture war would be saying this stuff. Now, that's not the same as the right and the left. That's in my that grifters would be saying that absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Like this was just meant to be like a tangent to kind of supplement the GTA 6 discussion because I remember the Tim Pool tweet that says, "Please let it be woke." Someone said that like he's so busy with like his videos and like his production that he has no time to play these games anymore.
No, I said that.
That's right. It was you. You found that one.
Yeah. So yeah, but like Lemon Creature again. This is the last thing I'll say quick. My dogs are barking. Or in some cases, we see enough bad media from crazy people that we start seeing a pattern and get cautious about newer media. I just want to say, like, before we close up here, I understand this problem, but I caution people to be less. Wait, I encourage people to be a little bit less cautious because I think the current level of caution is a little crazy. It's like the current level of caution is it's gonna be woke until I'm proven wrong, and it's like
Bingo.
That's like a I can't imagine living. I can't imagine
until proven innocent.
Yeah, but I also but I just like the base function of this is I can't imagine not ever being excited about anything ever. Like, I can't imagine.
That was
Like-
my argument for Indiana Jones. You've got an 18-minute
Well-
trailer, and for 30 seconds
Well-
of it, there's some wackadoo. Like, okay, but that's not enough for me. The rest of everything else looks
Right.
great.
Well,
Like,
there's
but,
another,
like-
there is
but-
like a
yeah.
second step to this, and I think a lot more people have started to understand it. And if I may steelman the patterns argument a little bit, it's the
Yeah.
big role that like marketing has taken
Yeah.
a role of, especially in the last couple of years. Like a lot more people are paying attention to like trailers, interviews, what cast directors are saying, like behind the scenes leading up to things, and they will notice like certain words or phrases that come back up that they may have seen in the past. So I understand that. I'll give you a good example though of one that went in the reverse direction, where like I saw a trailer, I thought, oh, this is gonna be dope. I see this looks awesome. The Blue Eye Samurai, everyone started loving it. I saw a trailer, I'm like, I was down for it, watched it. By the end of the first episode, I was not having it, and by the end of it, I despised that show. I actually think
Well,
that ended up
that's
falling into the low
that's fair.
category.
That's fair. That not everybody's gonna agree on that. A lot of people like.
I know
that.
that. Well, that's like that's like
Yeah.
but before we bounce, I want to address one more comment if that's cool.
Yeah.
So Anonymous says, to be fair, they've kind of trained audiences to expect it. And yes, they have. My argument against that is what we were saying earlier about the Asmongold stuff was like, hey, he's acknowledging the reality, but what he should be is saying, here's steps forward on how to fix it. And I think we should take that same mentality into this. Okay, yeah, the audience, they have trained audiences to expect this stuff, but I will put it on you. Not you personally, Anonymous, but like you, the royal you. I will put it on anyone to say, you know what? I'm going to break my conditioning to assume that everything is woke, and I'm going to have at least a semi-open mind unless there's a legitimately very good reason to believe this, aside from my conditioned culture war stuff. Like go out of your way to think, you know what? I just had a knee-jerk reaction to this video game or movie or whatever being woke. Maybe I shouldn't have that knee-jerk reaction. Let's think critically.
Right. So to piggyback off of that, Anonymous, for me, this is how, not just Anonymous, but everybody. For me, I am not, people have been telling me things like, oh, I'm not going to watch Pluto because it's on Netflix and it's probably going to be woke. Or I'm not going to watch Talk to Me because it's an Australian movie and they're woke. Or and I could go down the list: John Wick, Godzilla -1, Talk to Me, Bo's Afraid, The Killer, Past Lives, Maestro,
One Piece.
Wait. Let me finish. One Piece, Killers of the Flower Moon, The Boy and the Heron, Anatomy of a Fall, Oppenheimer, Society of the Snow, Across the Spider-Verse, Dream Scenario, Tetris, Blackberry, Infinity Pool, Knock at the Cabin. If I had the paranoid mentality of I'm not gonna like this movie because it's gonna be woke, I would have been wrong like 20 times. This year alone, and I would have been so annoyed with myself because I'm so paranoid that I can't get excited for anything. And I just listed a bunch of movies that I really enjoyed this year. Like if I was like pessimistic about all of those movies, I would be so miserable. Like that's so stupid. You know what I mean? You don't have to be like that. Like,
yeah, people should have been worried about Knock at the Cabin because it was M. Night Shyamalan, not because it was woke.
Yeah,
to be fair, Knock at the Cabin ended up being good. I'm just saying, if you were going to be worried preemptively, that should have been the reason.
Exactly.
Right. But like I just listed like 20 movies that I really personally enjoyed. And I'm just explaining to you. That's why I've broken this pattern of like this like kind of thing in my interpretation of trailers and stuff. And that everything's going to be woke because none of those things were woke enough that I didn't enjoy them. So like, why would I like have that paranoia like 24/7? It's just, it's make believe. It's fake. It doesn't exist for me.
There are things that are so egregiously woke that they are unplayable, unwatchable, whatever. I mean, I think the Halo show and the Spider-Man 2 video game were not only were they just bad outright, but they were so woke they were unenjoyable. But those are a rarity nowadays. I agree with you.
I'm not even saying it's a rarity. I'm just saying that I'm getting much better at predicting whether or not something's going to be woke. Like I'm just like It's to me, it's becoming more obvious. Rachel Ziegler's attached to it. It's gonna be woke. Like it's so obvious. Like you don't have to think everything's gonna be woke just because Robert De Niro hates Donald Trump doesn't mean that a Martin Scorsese movie is gonna be woke. Like, can you please have a think about what you're watching for a
interview
second?
might be woke. De Niro's interviews are going to be woke as fuck, but the movie itself, maybe not. And I think another issue in terms of the training yourself to have less knee-jerk reaction and whatnot. People often come at me with no, this stuff's still just as woke as it's always been. You're just getting used to it. And like,
no, that's not even true.
No, that's not, I've been following this culture war shit since Gamergate. If I wasn't used to it by 2017, 2018, whatever, then I got into this stuff in 2014. It's 2024 now. If I was going to get used to it, it would have happened already. It wouldn't just be, a decade later, now I'm used to it. Like, that's not how it works.
I mean, for me, I went to school like the people who are like developing and like kind of growing into this field doing that stuff. Okay. Like I've seen like how it like it's in its infancy and what, okay. Like I can draw you the line.
Yeah, exactly. And then Anonymous, you're right. People need to have, it's a balance. Mm-hmm. I loved Andor, but Star Wars, all Star Wars before it crippled its chances. That's a big statement. Mm-hmm. That's true.
Well, I want to just pull Star Wars real quick here. Like, what's the one when it comes to all the woke talk? What's the one, or at least one of the main reoccurring things you get? It's always that is attached to Disney. Like the Disney name is kind of synonymous with like the characteristics of woke, like what you would call a woke piece of media, though.
That's such a that is such a unique thing, I think, with Disney that at this point, all the shit that I just said about like having optimism goes out the window with Disney because it's not even like me being paranoid. It's just I'm weighing the pros and cons. I'm just objectively weighing the pros and cons of everything that I've seen from Disney over the past 10 years, and there's almost nothing positive. I can't think of one thing. So like it's a different conversation than saying like Hollywood in general, because Hollywood does make a lot of good movies. Like I just listed a bunch of them. But when it comes to Disney, they are so far gone that it's almost like, okay, I'm willing to accept that this is probably going to be terrible. Any live action Disney remake of an animated thing is probably going to suck ass. Like it's really not that
even
hard.
If it's not woke, it's just going to suck. Like
that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Quality that you would come to expect.
Yeah, it's the quality. It's the quality.
I refuse to. I will give almost any company a chance to win me back. The two exceptions are Disney and Wizards of the Coast. I will know. I'm done giving them chances. But you know what? There's a lot of fucking companies out there. Those are the only two that I'm full on done with. Sure. I think that bodes well for the majority of entertainment as a whole.
And Lofty, I'm right there with you. Like for every awful bottom of the barrel Disney brand umbrella company movie out there, I can give you at least one other movie from last year that I would rather watch that would keep me satisfied. Okay, I'm totally on your side about this one. I'm just saying, like, obviously Disney is like the crown jewel of like that explanation. The reputation is completely tarnished.
That's why I don't like think twice about like shitting on Disney like 24/7, because like I know people are gonna be like, oh, you're a hypocrite. You just said you should be more optimistic, and I'm like, well, yes, except
there's always the exception to the rule, people.
Yeah, but like Disney is the Michael.
Change my mind.
Disney is the Paul W.S. Anderson or the Tommy Wiseau of movies. Like I'm never gonna
no, because at least Tommy Wiseau is interesting. You were right on that. You hit the nail on the head with Paul W.S. Anderson.
Okay, but that's
real.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Like Disney just sucks ass at quality control. So that's just like it's different than because not even every Disney movie is woke. Like they're all bad.
Well, then you just go down the list of companies. Like you kind of just go down the list. It's like, okay, well, here's the next company we're all can like. You go like Activision or Blizzard. It's like, how does this match up? It's like, do they qualify in the same way? And you kind of run through your head all your different just qualifiers you might have. And you think to yourself, yeah, I'll at the end of the day, I'm not gonna. This company exhibits woke traits. I'm not going to support that. Or like maybe you think, yeah, there's a little bit of it, but I'm going to look the other way because the products are still that good.
Event Horizon was Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah, Event Horizon that's true. Event Horizon is the exception, not the rule of Paul W.S. Anderson. And no, Mortal Kombat
overrated.
wasn't good. It was fun. There's a difference. The first Mortal
this is
Kombat
fun.
isn't good. It's just fun.
Terrible. Also, I think this is overrated a little bit, but that's just me. That's okay.
It's a cult classic.
It's a cult classic.
It's a cult classic. You're 100%. But Event Horizon is legitimately good. I will agree.
Yeah. Well, I could talk about this for hours and hours. I want to go play some Palworld. After all this
got home from work, and I want to show him the guitar stuff I was working on. So
I gotta do a little bit more work on my project.
Nice. Yeah, Sketch. Find me on Twitter and link me your channel. I want to check your stuff out, bud.
Yeah. Here, why don't you drop your Twitter feed in like chat somewhere? I'll follow it to get to all your stuff.
Yeah, let's put in the private chat real quick.
Let's do that.
There we go.
Well, chat, thanks for hanging out with us. I will say this is Rand. I don't stream on Fridays, but next Wednesday I'll be back on 8 p.m. And what else is happening? Maybe on Flashcast tomorrow night. I might be. I'm not sure yet. Anyway, you guys have a good weekend, chat, and thanks for watching, everybody. And we didn't really talk too much. We talked a lot about Asmongold, but I didn't play much of his video. It's just it's 2 hours long.
Asmongold is just the starting block for a much larger conversation.
Yeah, exactly. That's it's more fun to talk about whatever adjacent thing involves him. So I appreciate everything. So thanks Anon, thanks Lemon Creature for joining the chat. No, you didn't derail anything. You had good contributions, so I appreciate it.
Chat contributions are always best.
I love, dude. That's why I like having a smaller channel. It's like even like the other day was perfect. We had like 50 viewers because I had on X-Ray Girl, and we had like and it was just constant. Like I love reading chat. I like talking to chat about their opinions, and you know what I mean. It's just more fun. Like when you have a big channel.
Exactly.
Chat is the best part of life. Like, I love making my videos, but the reason I make my videos is to bring people into my chat so that I have people I can talk with while live. The chat is really the best part of streaming.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. Like when a bigger channel, like all they do is read super chats, and it's like I would. It's fine. It's fine.
That's another reason I respect Asmongold. To be fair, he does talk with his massive chat.
Yeah,
to a very respectable degree.
Yeah.
Bro, so does Moist Critical. Moist Critical will talk to everybody. It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
I've never watched Moist Critical live. I won't lie.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, you type in Hassan's chat, you're getting banned.
I know you say anything about. Hi, I'm a Christian. Banned.
No, you have to say Hassan. I think you missed a piece of information.
Banned. Gone. Yeah,
3-month subscriber out of here.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah. So anyway, thank you guys. We will catch you later. Words of Paradise has a YouTube channel. Words of Paradise. If you want to put whatever, I forgot to include it. I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't planned for me to be on the stream, so no worries. Yeah, you guys just find me at Words of Paradise. I new videos almost every day, and I stream with Lofty occasionally.
Yeah. More hopefully, occasionally more often too. I like talking to you, buddy. So.
You're
we'll hang out.
Yes, it was great to meet you, man. I'm gonna talk to you more as well.
I'm trying to make a little more of a push with my channel, just doing a little bit of stuff. I'm not doing like commentary stuff. I'm doing more just like exercise because I'm gonna be gearing up for a big project later in this year.
Nice.
So.
Dude, keep it up.
Yeah, so
have a goal in mind and just do it.
Anything to help put myself out there and get it promoted down the road is gonna be the name of the game this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll hit you up. I want to talk to you on my show and just bring you on. Just I don't care how many subs someone has. If they're interesting, that's what matters to me. And you were definitely fun to talk to and interesting.
I'll be happy.
Yep,
to.
absolutely.
Anyways,
cool, buddy. Well,
right.
Thanks, chat. I'm gonna wave goodbye because I have a little button that I can push. Wait, it didn't work. It's not working. Oh, damn it. Yo, I have this thing called a loop deck, which is like a stream deck or a Steam deck stream deck. And it's not working. My button's not working.
You had one job.
Oh, fuck.
One job.
I had one job. It's over. I failed. Anyway, guys, have a good night. I'll talk to you later. And peace. Go play Palworld. All right, bye-bye.